As we begin today's program, now I invite the dignitaries to share the dais. I request Professor Mohid Abrar to escort our Honorable Vice Chancellor of KVN University, Professor Ali Raza Musvi, sir. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Majid, sir, to escort our guest of honor, Professor Uday Kumar Ambati, sir. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Nazir, sir, to escort our Dean of Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Professor S.K. Azam, sir. Thank you, sir. Respected Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, Dean of various faculties, Heads of various departments, dear colleagues and participants, a glorious morning to one and all. I, Mr. Vinay Bharat, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you all for the 2 days faculty development program on artificial intelligence and data science, insights, practices, and applications. Prayer is a state of mind where an amazing exchange happens. We hand over our worries to God and He hand over His blessings to us. So now I call Dr. Nazir, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, to recite few verses of Holy Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا ومن الليل فتهجد به نافلة لك عسى أن يبعثك ربك مقاما محمودا وقل رب أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا وإذا أنعمنا على الإنسان أعرض ونأى بجانبه وإذا مسه الشر كان يئوسا قل كل يعمل على شاكلته فربكم أعلم بمن هو أهدى سبيلا صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, sir. To continue with the session, watering a plant is a symbol of green, growth, nourishment, and positive vibrations. So to witness this, now I request our dignitaries to water these beautiful plants. Thank you, sir. Now I request our FDP convener, Dr. Samina Banuban, Head of Computer Science and Engineering Department, to welcome the gathering.
Respected Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, Chairperson, Deans of various faculties, Heads of various departments, faculty members, and dear participants. Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to one and all. It is my privilege and great pleasure to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to all of you gathered here for this 2-week faculty development program on artificial intelligence and data science, insights, practices, and applications, jointly organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Electronics and Communication Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Khaja Bandanawaz University. First and foremost, I offer my gratitude to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything, including this event. I, and on behalf of other conveners and organizing committee, would like to express my deep sense of gratitude and indebtedness to our Honorable President Sir, His Holiness Janab Sayyid Shah Khusro Hussaini Sahab, Honorable Chancellor, Khaja Bandanawaz University. I also express my deep sense of gratefulness to our Vice President Sir, Janab Sayyid Shah Ali Al Hussaini Sahab, Honorable Pro Chancellor, Khaja Bandanawaz University. I would like to extend a special welcome to our Chief Guest, Dr. Ali Raza Muswi Sir, Vice Chancellor, Khaja Bandanawaz University. We are deeply honored to have you with us today. Your visionary leadership and unwavering support for academic excellence and innovation have been instrumental in making this program possible. We are grateful for your encouragement and presence here today. I am also delighted to welcome our guest of honor and today's keynote speaker, Professor Uday Kumar Ambati, Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies, Andhra Pradesh, associated with Visual Learning and Intelligence Group, Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. Your distinguished contributions to the field of artificial intelligence are truly inspirational, and we are eagerly looking forward for your sessions. I would also like to warmly welcome our chairperson, Dr. Sheikh Kalam Muhammad Azam Sir, Dean, Faculty of Engineering Technology. Your dedication to fostering an environment of learning and development is commendable. Your insights and guidance are always helped us in going an extra mile, and we are fortunate to have your support for this faculty development program. I also take the opportunity to welcome the Dean, Faculty of Medical Sciences, heads of various departments, faculty members of Khaja Bandanawaz University, and other universities and institutions. Last but not least, I cordially welcome the media persons and team of journalism and mass communication for covering this event. The purpose of education is to make good human beings with skill and expertise. Enlightened human beings can be created by teachers. This is quoted by APJ Abdul Kalam. Artificial intelligence and data science have rapidly transformed the landscape of technology and industry, influencing everything from healthcare to finance, from education to entertainment. The potential for these technologies to solve complex problems and drive innovations is immense. And as educators, it is our responsibility to stay ahead of these advancements and prepare our students to navigate and contribute to this evolving world. This FDP is meticulously designed to provide you with comprehensive insights into artificial intelligence and data science, covering both theoretical foundations and practical applications. Over the next few days, we will delve into various topics such as machine learning algorithms, data analytics, neural networks, big data technologies, and their real-world applications. Our goal is to equip you with the necessary tools and knowledge to integrate these concepts into our curriculum and research, ultimately enhancing the learning experience for our students. We are privileged to have a lineup of distinguished speakers and experts who bring a wealth of knowledge and experience in artificial intelligence and data science. Their sessions will not only impart valuable information, but also inspire you to think creatively about how to apply these technologies in different fields. I encourage you to actively participate and engage in discussions to make the most out of this program. In conclusion, I once again extend a warm welcome to each one of you. Let us make this FDP a memorable and enriching experience. I look forward to the fruitful interactions and the new perspectives that will emerge from this program. Thank you, and let us begin this exciting journey together.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request our FDP coordinator, Dr. N.F. Maruf sir, to brief about our 2-week faculty development program.
Rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ellarigu nanna namaskaralu. Honorable Vice Chancellor and Chief Guest of the function, Professor Ali Raza Muswi sir. Guest of honor, Professor Uday Kumar Ambati sir. Respected Dean and Chairperson of the function, Dr. Sheikh Kamal Muhammad Azam sir. Respected Deans of various faculties, respected Dean of Faculty of Medical Science, Dr. Siddesh Sarwal sir. Esteemed resource person, respected HODs of various departments, dear professors and dear participants, good morning and a warm welcome. I, Dr. N.M. Maruf, standing before you to give an overview of FDP. It is an honor and privilege to address such a distinguished gathering on this momentous occasion of the inauguration of 2-week faculty development program on artificial intelligence and data science, insights, practices, and applications. Let me extend our deepest gratitude to Honorable Chancellor of Khaja Bandanawaz University, His Holiness, Dr. Sayyid Shah Gesu Daraz Khusro Hussaini sir, for their visionary leadership and unwavering support in advancing the cause of education and research. Sir, your guidance continues to inspire us to reach new heights of excellence. We express our sincere appreciation to our esteemed Pro-Chancellor, Janab Sayyid Shah Ali Al Hussaini sir, for their dedication to the pursuit of knowledge and their commitment of fostering a culture of innovation within our institution. Sir, your steadfast support has been instrumental in shaping the success of this program. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor Ali Raza Muswi sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Khaja Bandanawaz University, for the tireless efforts in promoting academic excellence and fostering a spirit of inquiry and collaboration. Sir, your visionary leadership continues to guide us on the path towards greater achievements. We express our gratitude to the Director, KBNU, to Dr. Mustafa Ali Hussaini sir. We express our gratitude to our respected Dean, Dr. Sheikh Kamal Muhammad Azam sir, for exemplary leadership and unwavering support in championing the cause of education and research. Sir, your dedication to nurturing talent and fostering academic excellence serves as an inspiration to us all. So I extend my warm welcome to Dr. Siddesh Sarwal sir, Dean, Faculty of Medical Science, for accepting our invitation and attending today's inaugural function. Thank you very much, sir. We extend our warmest welcome to our esteemed resource persons and a heartfelt appreciation who are sharing their expertise and insights with us. Today we are having Professor Uday Kumar Ambatti, sir, and many more resource persons are going to join in the next coming days. Sir, I'm sure that your invaluable contribution will enrich our learning experience and empower us to navigate the complexities of artificial intelligence and data science with confidence and competence. So on this occasion, I would like to extend my warm welcome to Dr. Rajashri Paladi, Madam, who is the Dean of Research, Khaja Bandanawaz University, Kalburgi. Thank you, Madam, for accepting our invitation and making yourself convenient to attend today's inaugural function. And finally, to our dear participants, we extend our warmest greetings and heartfelt thanks for your enthusiastic participation and committed to professional development. Your active engagement and passion for learning are the driving force for behind the success of this program. Now coming to the program, that is a brief introduction about artificial intelligence and data science and what is its significance. As we stand at the threshold of a new era, characterized by unprecedented advancements in the technology, it is imperative for us as educators and professionals to stay abreast of the latest trends and developments in the field of artificial intelligence and the data science. These disciplines are not merely buzzwords. They represent the driving forces behind the innovation and progress across the diverse domains, ranging from the healthcare and finance to manufacturing and education. Over the next 2 weeks, the FDP will provide a comprehensive overview of artificial intelligence and data science, equipping participants with knowledge and skills that are necessary to harness the power of these transformative technologies. Through a series of lectures, workshops, and hands-on exercise, we will explore the fundamental concepts, methodologies, and tools underlying the artificial intelligence and data science application. But beyond mere technical proficiency, this FDP aims to foster a deeper understanding of the ethical, societal, and economical implications of artificial intelligence and data science. As we empower ourselves with the ability to analyze vast amounts of data and build intelligent systems, we must also be cognizant to the responsibilities that come with such capabilities. It is our collective duty to ensure that AI is developed and deployed in a manner that upholds ethical principles, promotes fairness and transparency, and respects individual privacy and autonomy. Moreover, this FDP serves as a platform for collaboration and exchange of ideas among educators, researchers, and practitioners from diverse backgrounds. By fostering interdisciplinary dialogue and collaboration, we can unlock new opportunities for innovation and address complex challenges facing the society today. As we embark on this journey together, let us approach it with an open mind, a thirst for knowledge, and a commitment to excellence. Let us seize this opportunity to expand our horizons, challenge our assumptions, and push the boundaries of what is possible. And above all, let us remember that our collective efforts today will shape the future of AI and data science for generations to come. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants, organizers, and sponsors who have made this FDP possible. Your dedication and support are truly commendable. I have no doubt that together we will make this FDP a resounding success. So in this 2-week FDP, we are having nearly 20 plus sessions that are going to be. Apart from that, we have invited our local police, that is the crime branch, to address the cyber crime, what are its impacts, how to detect and prevent the cyber crimes. That is going to be the one session. So they have agreed for that. That is going to be on 11th of this June. After this, we are going to visit the SP office or the criminal cell along with all our participants. So they are going to give a demonstration about how these people are going to crack, identify, and preventing the thefts. That is one of the sessions what we are having. Thank you, and let us embark on this journey of discovery and innovation with enthusiasm and determination. So I hope you are going to enjoy the forthcoming sessions. All the best to you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your roadmap of FDP, sir. So now I request our FDP organizer, Professor Zamrud Taj, sir, to introduce today's chief guest.
One and all, Assalamu alaikum, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. and my dear faculty and attendees of the faculty development program. So it is my honor and privilege to introduce our honorable chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ali Raza Muswi sir, on this occasion of inaugural function of the two-week faculty development program. Before going forward with the introduction, so I would like to speak few points which will help you to understand the personality and the stature of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ali Raza Muswi sir. So basically we are very much proud of our KBN University, but when we came to know that Professor Ali Raza Muswi sir is going to join our university as a Vice Chancellor, who is an alumni of JNU and Professor of Central University of Karnataka, we started feeling more proud of our university. This I will tell you in the coming few sentences. So with his smart decision making and smart planning, so in a very short period of time, almost 1.5 or 2 years of time, you see a lot of development in various faculties as well as the campus that we have seen. So more than whatever we were expecting in the beginning of when he joined, we had a lot of expectation from him because of his background and all. So more than that expectations, he has worked for the university for the development and upliftment of the university. And I hope that definitely his continuous effort will make the university one of the best university in India. I'm sure definitely he'll go for it. So after this brief talk, so I would like to start with the introduction of Professor Ali Raza Muswi. So Professor Honorable Vice Chancellor Ali Raza Muswi sir has a vast experience, teaching experience and academic administration of higher educational spread over 3 central universities. Have served both as a member of faculty as an academic administrator with exposure at the national level by serving in committees of University Grant Commission in the Ministry of HRD. So apart from this teaching and research, core competence including governance and administration, policy and planning, student interaction and management, legal framework, and so many like these kind of things, he has been involved in various activities. So coming to the educational qualification of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, so he did his PhD in 2004 from Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, New Delhi, which is a very reputed university of India and has got name internationally also. As all of you know, the various personalities, international, national, economists and educationists have come out of that university. An alumni of JNU means it will have its own special stature. So that is what we felt after he came into our university. That is what I told you, that more than our expectation, he worked within a very short period of time. That is very important. MPhil also he did from 1998 from the JNU itself, New Delhi. After that, below that, MSc in 1996 in geography. This first class with distinction from Osmania University, Hyderabad. BSc in 1994, geography, geology and chemistry with this combination, and this first class from same Osmania University, Hyderabad. So after this one, let us move to the academic awards and distinctions that he has. Okay, so number one, and he was awarded Dr. D.C. Paute Visiting Fellowship at the Center of International Studies, University of Cambridge, UK in 2006. Second one is awarded the JNU Memorial Fund Fellowship for Doctoral Studies in January 2001. Number 3, research paper entitled Rural Development and Forestry, a developmental index for forest fringe villages, presented at the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and it won the All India Young Scholar Award in 1999. The next one is the fourth, qualified for the Indian Council. so, yes, but most of these information are not available with the faculty, sir. Let us know these things. Okay, sir. I'll try to make it short. Qualified for the Indian Council for Social Science Research Fellowship for Doctoral Studies in December 1999. Qualified UGC NET exam in 2001. So after this one, let us move to the teaching and research experience. Okay? So he has got vast experience in teaching as well as the research. So he's a PhD examiner for Bangalore University, University of Pune, and various universities, and Central University of Karnataka, all where he is already working. Now moving forward to the various positions that he held in universities in teaching as well as the administration. Number one, Registrar, the English and Foreign Language University, EFL University, Hyderabad, 2014-2016. Number two, Registrar in charge of Central University of Karnataka, 2012-2014. Chief Public Information Officer, EFL University and CUK. Dean School of Earth Science and Head Department of Geography, 2010-2013. Dean Students Welfare at Central University of Karnataka from September 2011 to 2013. Controller of Examination of Central University of Karnataka, 2009-2014. Member School Board, Central University of Karnataka. Member Board of Studies, Central University of Karnataka. So like this, he has got so many positions held. So let us go for the membership of statutory bodies and committees, which is very important. So as it relates to the different university and the UGC. Member Academic Council, Central University of Gujarat. Member Peer Team, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Member Executive Council and Academic Council of Central University of Karnataka. Member Academic Council, Mizoram University, January 2012 to 15. Member Academic Council, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, 2005 to 2007. Member Coordinator for UGC Working Subgroup for Framing Model Ordinance for Central Universities. Member UGC Committees to frame guidelines for students' elections. Member Ministry of HRD Committee for framing single bill for all central universities. Member of various academic committees, selection committees, etc. So such a vast. So if it just goes on listing, it goes to number of pages. So because of that one, okay. Okay, let me just mention books he has written or published. There are 2 books. Okay. So with this such a vast experience and vast exposure and alumni of such a big universities, so whatever were expectations were there when he joined, we had he has crossed those all expectations, has made the campus and the university to such a level that we are expecting in a very near future will be one of the best university in India. So with these few introductory sentences, I thank you very much, sir, for your work that you are carrying, and we hope that in future also we all will promise that we will also work hand in hand and for the development of the university, and promise for that one. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anand.
That's really true, sir. Our Vice Chancellor is our dream come true. He completely changed the vibrations of our university. So now I request our FDP organizer, Ms. Nikhat Fatima, to introduce about our today's resource person.
A very good morning to everyone, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest of honor, Professor Uday Kumar Ambati, sir. Sir is currently working as an assistant professor at Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies, Andhra Pradesh. Sir has completed his BTech degree in CSC from JNTU in May 2009. He went on to complete his master's in May 2011 with an excellent CGPA of 9.21 out of 10 from IIT Mumbai. Truly, sir, this was a remarkable achievement. Sir is currently pursuing his PhD from Visual Learning and Intelligence Group, Department of CSE, IIT Hyderabad. Sir obtained his industrial experience by working in Oracle India Private Limited as application software engineer in the development of the product Oracle Fusion Enterprise Resource Planning. He's here today to share an energetic and refreshing perspective on what's possible when we embrace a mindset of growth and creativity. His current research work speaks exactly that. It focuses on proposing a multi-source optimal transport framework for cross-domain Alzheimer's disease diagnosis with multi-site MRI data. Now, we are all aware that Alzheimer's is a common form of dementia, and its early detection is a major challenge today, mostly involving computer-aided machine learning approaches for integrative analysis. Sir's work emphasizes in identifying various similarity measures for data sets containing MRI data and into designing new strategies that increases the classification accuracy of target data set using deep learning classifier. With wholeheartedness, sir, we wish you great success in your work that inspires us to work for the community. We are very fortunate to have you here today with us, sir. I would like to take a moment and briefly introduce the other resource persons that we shall have during this period of 2-week FTP. We shall be having our industrial training with hands-on workshop with our industrial expert, Dr. Mohammad Ismail. He is a senior data science manager at Blend 360. We shall then have Dr. N. Madan Mohan Reddy, associate professor from Anurag University, Hyderabad, who shall give us an insight on applications of AI and data science. Our next expert is going to be Dr. Damodar Reddy, who is an associate professor from NIT Goa. We then have Mr. K. Naveen Kumar, research scholar, Department of CSE from IIT Hyderabad. Sir shall be speaking on research foundation in AI and ML, along with some hands-on training on data collection, analysis, and methods. And for the final day, we shall have Dr. Narsimadhan, associate professor, NIT Suratkal, who shall be taking up the topic of deep learning and its practices. Training is not an expense, but an investment in human capital. I welcome everyone to be a part of this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhat. As a mark of honor, let's move towards the felicitation ceremony. So now I request our Dean, Professor S.K. Azam Sir, to felicitate our Honorable Vice Chancellor of KBN University, Professor Ali Raza Moosvi Sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to felicitate our today's resource person, Professor Uday Kumar Ambati, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request our convener, Dr. Naimuddin sir, to felicitate our Dean of Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Professor S.K. Azam sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request our FDP coordinator, Dr. N.M. Maru sir, to present a token of love to Dr. Siddhesi Sirwar sir, Dean Faculty of Medical Sciences, KBN University. Thank you, sir. Now I request our convener, Dr. Samina Banumam, to present a token of love to Dr. Rajashri Paladi ma'am, Dean Research, KBN University. Now I request our FDP coordinator, Dr. Rafia Gulmeher ma'am, to present our token of love to our convener, Dr. Samina Banu ma'am, Head of CSE Department. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request our FDP organizer, Professor Zora Begum, ma'am, to present a token of love to our convener, Dr. Shabana Tabassum, ma'am, head of E&CE department. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request our FDP organizer, Dr. Majid sir, to present a token of love to our convener, Dr. Naimuddin sir, head of mechanical engineering department. Thank you, sir. To continue with the session, now I request Head, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Dr. S.K. Azam, sir, to present your valuable remarks.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ali Raza Muswi, sir, and the today's guest of honor, Ambati, sir, who is from IIT Hyderabad, and the Dean for Faculty of Medical Sciences, Siddheswar, sir, and also the Dean for Research, KBNU, Rajashree Palladi Madam, and all the faculty who have all the way come from different institutions, from KCT, Shetty of institutions, and Appa Institute of University. Good morning to you all. This is a journey which is planned very long back, and it has come existence now with the great support of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. Immediately, he has accepted our proposal and granted immediately the funds required to conduct such kind of program, what today we are seeing. Today we are seeing. So this is the FDP where we have planned for connecting with the industry as well as the academy. And also we have almost tried to connect with the people who are involved in the industry with the full of their success in their careers. And definitely we all the faculty members, now we are going to have a full of powers and a knowledge disseminations so that we'll be providing the same knowledge to our students also. A long journey of 15 days is planned in our institution from today to 15th of next month, this month only. And then actually I would like to say something about this. This FDP program definitely will help us for cultivating our competitiveness in our forthcoming promotions or anything of the career advancements. And also, as per the artificial intelligence, I would like to say that some of the renowned persons have told that it is a best and worst to the humankind. This can be known by the experts of the teachings we give today and although in the next consequent classes. So if this, I once again congratulate you and welcome you that to have such kind of wonderful sessions in our institution with the great help of our management and the VC sir. I take this opportunity and thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request our resource person, Professor Uday Kumar Ambati, sir, to brief about today's sessions.
So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, distinguished faculty and the Honorable Vice Chancellor and the esteemed guests. I'm very honored to be part of this FTP. And it's like, so today I want to share with you my journey and insights into a field that is transforming our world, which is artificial intelligence. I have been lucky enough to be working on AI for past 15 years now. Back then in 2009, I started studying AI in IIT Bombay during my master's. In those days, AI was considered as fringe and researchers would often distance themselves from it, preferring to work on machine learning, which actually works on statistics. And we used to solve very specific problems like classifying a spam mail or something like that, which used to be very specific. Now, the world has moved to artificial general intelligence, which was again, people would look at very doubtful and used to think that as a part of science fiction, and people used to think in those days, it takes around 50 to 100 years to actually come for artificial general intelligence. But this has come now. So far in the past 10, 15 years, AI is everywhere, and everyone see that how transformative it can be. But those days, we thought it's a theory subject, and we felt it's a very practical limitation, and we thought we never can have to the level of human intelligence. But it was actually surpassing the human intelligence in tasks like understanding images, translating languages, transcribing speech, playing Go and chess, and even diagnosing diseases. So the world started waking up to the enormous impact it could have. And researchers like you and me are all stuck with the question, like what is its potential and what is its risk? So to quote, Albert Einstein once said, if you can't explain it to your 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. So now the question comes back to the point like, what exactly is AI? Can you define it in a simple terms? Because even a 6-year-old is interacting with AI now, but if they ask us the question, what is AI? Even after so many hours of debate, we cannot actually tell what is an AI. So at the end of my introduction, we'll come to an understanding of what exactly is AI. Now, to be very specific, it's a piece of software that can read and analyze vast amounts of data, learn from it, and perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. It can recognize patterns, understand natural language, and even make decisions. But explaining it in this way will actually miss the true essence of it, like how it is actually doing it. So it's not just a technological advancement, but it is a paradigm shift which is actually transforming the world. It is, as previous speakers also told, it is transforming the healthcare. It can diagnose disease. It can detect fraud in finance. It will help the supply chain in manufacturing. In education, it can become a personalized tutor. And it can also drive innovation in terms of autonomous vehicles, smart cities, and there were so many things. And it can also accelerate the scientific discoveries like drug molecule discovery, and we can speed up many other scientific things, and it can also give solution to climate change. And it also improves our quality of life in so many ways. Either you take it off home devices like healthcare solutions, and it may make our life safer and healthier. And it can also help you in elderly care, which will show empathy and another a kind of assistance and improve the well-being of everyone. So as educators, our role is to, in this AI-driven area, to equip the students with the knowledge that they require to thrive in the AI world, which is present everywhere. This not only involves teaching them the aspects of AI, but also fostering critical thinking, ethical considerations, and creativity. With AI offers immense benefits. It also has ethical challenges, like to tell data privacy and bias in algorithms, and it can also make go for job displacement, and this has to be addressed thoughtfully. It is crucial that we guide our students to become responsible AI practitioners who also prioritize ethical consideration and contribute positively to society. At this point of history of humanity, we know AI is in an unprecedented rate. It is growing, and over the past few years, we have seen its capability. So we can imagine a future where there is a personal AI tutor, a medical advisor, a business coach in your pocket with just a smartphone, or it may be a very AI personalized device. So to truly harness the power of AI, we need to find the right metaphor which actually describes this. Because this is not just a tool which we can describe, or we cannot ignore that it is just a tool, but you can call it as a digital species, which is a partner in our journey that evolves and grows alongside us. This metaphor helps us to focus on critical issues. What are the risks? What are the boundaries we need to impose on it? And what kind of AI do we want to build or allow to be built? These are the questions that we must answer as a society, ensuring that AI serves humanity in the best possible way. In conclusion, AI is not just a technological advancement, it is a transformative force that is actually reshaping our world. To re-emphasize, as educators, we have the responsibility to prepare the next generation to harness this power responsibly and ethically. We must embrace this journey with a clear sense of what we are creating and ensure that AI reflects the best of humanity, which is empathy, creativity, and kindness. Let us work together to shape a future in which AI serves as a true partner in our progress, helping us to solve grand challenges and improving the quality of life for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor of KVN University, Professor Ali Raza Muswi, sir, to address the gathering.
To all of you, I would first like to sort of welcome and thank Professor Azam, Dr. Ambati, Dr. Sitesh, Dr. Rajshri, all the heads, people who have come from outside. When I think about today's theme of not today's theme, the theme for this artificial intelligence program, the faculty development program, I have often thought that when we speak about artificial intelligence, then it means there's also something known as natural intelligence. We'll have to define and try to explain both the sides of the coin. If something is artificial, then what is natural? As Dr. Ambati rightly said, and he's the expert, but for people who are not from this field and people who have done some lateral reading, we find that nearly every science fiction writer, from Arthur C. Clarke to Isaac Asimov to H.G. Wells, everyone has warned us about the destructive outcome of artificial intelligence and how it might pose a threat to human life and civilization. This does not mean that we should not engage with artificial intelligence and not use it. That's certainly not the idea. But between artificial and natural intelligence, I would say that if artificial intelligence is built on information and training, natural intelligence is built on knowledge and understanding. It is, I think, the main difference between the brain and the mind. One part uses the brain, the other uses the mind. These are esoteric psychological concepts, and I am not certainly the expert to speak on these things. But I am personally very glad that this faculty development program is being held in the Faculty of Engineering. As all of us know here, the Faculty of Engineering completes nearly 43 years of its existence, I think this year. 44 years, correct? For 44 years. Out of which 39 years were as a college and the last 5 years as a university. Now 44 years is a very long time. And I like to think there's so much to do and so less time. The reason why I am in a fast-forward mode, I am being hasty perhaps, I am being impatient, I am being harsh, tough. I know all these words can be used for me very correctly. It would not be like you are saying some bad things about me. All these things are right. But the reason is that I find that the world, the way the world is moving, the world of higher education, the world, the world of human relationships. We'll have to keep pace with this world, otherwise we will be made part of history, a past. No, not even history, but a past on which we will cry, on which we will remember emotionally. History is when you learn from what has happened to you in the past. If you don't learn from the past, then it remains the past. If you learn from the past, it becomes history. This faculty, I believe, has so much potential to grow. As I've said earlier, that all of us think of a world, engineers build that world. All of us imagine certain processes and structures. Engineers made them possible. And we are a very unique university. I was just thinking when we were speaking, a thought came to me that how many universities in India have a full-fledged faculty of medical science and engineering and law and BA, BSc, BCom. To my knowledge, based on my 22 years of experience in higher education, I can count, I think throughout India, there are hardly 12 or 15 universities which are so diverse, frankly. I think this is the biggest gap, like the place I studied in, JNU, doesn't have this, Jamia doesn't have this, DU doesn't have this, Pondicherry that doesn't have this. You can throw any university's name to me and I will say that no university in India, not a single one, I mean not a single, I mean there are 10 or 12, like AMU has the same spread. Every state university had the same spread till they were broken apart, which was a very wrong decision on which I am on record either both in the ministry and the UGC that it was the wrongest decision made for political reasons to create positions to appoint people as vice chancellors, that the multi-facet universities were broken down into a health university, into a technological university in the same state. We have got one university for health, one for technology, not knowing that knowledge does not grow like that. Knowledge grows best only when it is mixed. You cannot have only health or education or technology or law separate, which has unfortunately happened. That is the biggest reason why India does not produce world-class research minds. That's the single biggest reason, because right from the 10th, 12th class, our children are put into very narrow streams. BPC, MPC, commerce, these words, these three random chosen words, spoil our children's education. They spoil their future. Having said that, and when this FDP is being held here, it is only natural that we involve people from other faculties also. Unless you branch out and make cross-faculty connections, your knowledge will remain as information. It will become knowledge only when it is seen in the context of something else also. For example, the growth of science is linked to the Reformation, the Renaissance, the way things changed, the way human thoughts changed. Human thoughts did not change with one idea. It changed with an amalgamation of many ideas. We have to put, right from the beginning, if we put people like Newton, compare him with Leonardo da Vinci, compare him with Augustine, compare him with some other thinkers, only then the human endeavor comes forward. Having said that, and this being a multi-faculty university, I have been trying to strengthen each faculty so that it can stand in its own right. But once this is done, it will be up to all of you to build bridges amongst yourselves. Like today, when I heard that his work deals with MRI and CT scanning or whatever. So I said, I was telling, I tried to just mention to Dr. Rajshri here, and he's also here, Dr. Siddesh, that we find practical solutions for these things. These are very obscure things. These are very big things. These things are done in Harvard. But why can't they be done even here? Because we have the resources. Anything that there is nothing which stops us except our own thoughts. There is no hurdle except what we create for ourselves. The FDP, I would like this not to be an event but a process. I think every 2-3 months, because teachers need to frequently refresh themselves. Teachers need to be frequently exposed to training. And I would like to very clearly state that I will never stop any such initiative that you take. For it could be 3 days, it could be 5 days, it could be 2 weeks, but please take every opportunity you can to be exposed outside, to go and learn outside, and bring that learning back to the university. I would also like to share here what I also told Professor Azam, that these 2 halls which we have newly built, these 2 classrooms will be with the Faculty of Engineering. I would like that these 2 classrooms to be used for your classes. Use them for the first year or second year or third year, use them in whichever use you want them to use, because it's time we provided a good environment to the students, to the faculty. You can see the work which has been initiated with regard to your workspaces. My intention is to create an island like any good university creates an island. Speaking of IITs, if you go to Kharagpur, if you go to Powai, that's also, it's nearly outside Bombay. If you, for a long time, even the IIT in Chennai was somewhere outside. Everywhere, our own university, CUK, from where I come, is 25 kilometers from here. But it's an island. Once you reach there, everything is there. You don't have to, you may be in a rural area, you may be in the middle of the forest. Here we are in the center of the town. And it's very easy for us to build this island here. And we will build an island not only of infrastructure, but of thoughts, of attitudes, of actions, where we'll have to very carefully lead 2 different lives. The life which we lead outside the campus and the life we lead inside the campus. Any intelligent human being, and I think this was said by Plato, has 3 lives to him. One is his professional life, one is the life which is taught to him by his religion, and the third life is his social life. These are 3 different aspects of the same human being. You mix these 3 aspects, it is chaos. You keep these 3 aspects separate, then you will excel in all 3 parts of your life. Keep your religious life separate, your social life separate, and your professional life separate. My work here is to provide you with an environment that helps you grow your professional life. I would like many people from here, we have started the work of promotions. This FDP is the first step, because the AICT rules require all of you to undergo an FDP. That's fine. But being promoted in terms of your scale and your position is only half the story. You'll also have to promote your thoughts, you'll have to promote your teaching, you'll have to promote your outreach, research, everything. When students come into this classroom, starting from June 10th, there is a smart board here, there's a AC classroom here. Now you will have to be smarter, because this is a smart room. So what's happening is there are smart phones, smart rooms, and stupid people. Now that has to stop. Throughout the world, this is a very famous joke, smartphones and stupid people. They say that. It's a joke as if to say that because AI doesn't make mistakes, but it makes blunders. Human beings often make mistakes, but they don't make blunders. So I would like you to use this opportunity, grow as much, because the sky is the limit. Nobody here is going to stop your growth. You will have to do some things which don't make sense even to you. You will have to change your attitudes, you'll have to change your thoughts, you have to change the way you look in the classroom, the things you read, the films you watch, everything will have to change. So essentially, unless some of you go mad, things will not change. So I invite some of you to go mad over the next 1 year, do some new things which you have not done earlier, do things which are not normally done in your social and family circles, do things which you have not done in this institution for the last 20 years. By this I mean academic things, positive things. I don't mean other things. But unless we take those steps, we'll not change. With these words, I wish that you had an entire separate lecture on AI and social impact. How artificial intelligence will change the way we think of our religion, our relationships, and what future it holds for humanity. I think somebody from the field of perhaps cultural anthropology or philosophy can speak on these words. When somebody said that I am from JNU and I'll be different, the only reason is that we were trained to link various things. In this 15 days of FDP of AI, you should also have someone who's a sociologist or a cultural anthropologist to come and speak to you what does it mean by AI. You could also have somebody from the world of language and literature who will speak to you about the novels of Aldous Huxley or H.G. Wells or Arthur C. Clarke, and specific novels, how they have thought artificial intelligence will affect the human mind, like Brave New World, The Sleeper Awakes. These are classics. If you read these classics, you will find out how the human mind will change when it is exposed to forces which are not in its control. These are very important aspects. So perhaps when you have another FDP, all of you are young people. You can think out of the box, and in these 12 days, 15 days, you have 15 days of time. Why not bring someone who's not from the field of engineering or AI? Bring someone who's a rank outsider, someone whose articles you have read, whose book you have read, who would like to come and speak with you. Because people have no problem coming to an academic platform. It's not about politics, it's not about spreading either an idea or something, but it's about sharing ideas. So even now there's time. If you can find someone who is prepared to come and speak to you on any of these different aspects of AI, please reach out to them, call them. They can be from Bangalore, from Bombay, from Hyderabad, from Delhi. Call them from wherever you have to call them, because if we have to spend about 20,000-30,000 rupees on tickets, we don't mind that, because the amount of enrichment that we'll get will be much more than that. So with these few words, I am very happy, and I would like to wish each one of you the very best. And as I said, let this not be an event. Let this be a process. After 3 months, let mechanical people or civil or aeronautical, somebody can hold another FDP. Or tie up with medical science, tie up with arts and humanities, and hold a more FDP, because seminars, conferences you will do, there's no issue. But these tend to be longer periods where your mind has more chance of having the time to sit back and think on ideas and thoughts. So I think this format is the correct academic format, so please do it this way. And I wish all of you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable insights, sir. So now I request our FDP coordinator, Dr. Rafia Gulmeher ma'am, to propose vote of thanks.
In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful, distinguished dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, invited eminent guests, dear colleagues and participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and a warm, delightful morning to this wonderful gathering. First and foremost, on behalf of all the three organizing departments, I, Dr. Rafia Gulmeher, Assistant Professor, Computer Science and Engineering Department, extends my most sincere thanks to the Almighty Allah for giving us strength and making today's event a resounding success. I would like to pay homage to our founder president, Sir Padma Shri Awardee, late Honorable Sayyid Muhammad Ul Hussaini Sahib, without whose efforts we wouldn't be here on this day. I am very much thankful to His Excellency, Dr. Sayyid Shah Gesudaraz Khusro Hussaini Sir, Chancellor, Khaja Bandanawaz University. Without Sir's encouragement and upliftment, it would be impossible to organize such programs on a regular fashion. I mention my deep sense of gratitude to our young and dynamic Pro-Chancellor Sir and Director Sir for their vision and commitment towards imbibing wisdom and prosperity under one roof. The success of this program depends on the efforts of many people. It's an honor for me to convey my deep heartfelt thanks to an extraordinary individual among us, someone who is not only the cornerstone of our organization, but also a source of inspiration for all of us. Sir holds a distinguished position and has a rich tapestry of experiences and wisdom. Under his visionary leadership, our organization has scaled new heights and achieved numerous accomplishments. Without further ado, I feel grateful to thank Dr. Ali Raza Musvi Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Khaja Bandanawaz University, for sharing your valuable insight, for setting a powerful and promising vision for the future of our organization. Your inspiring words and supports have indeed provided us with a meaningful roadmap to strive towards the success of this program. Thank you so much, sir. Good professors are like good books. The more you read them, the more you inspired. Yes, you are correct. I would like to thank the guest of honor of today's function, Professor Uday Kumar Ambati sir, for accepting our invitation to present his valuable insight on the FDP title. Thank you so much, sir. Next, I would like to thank the torchbearer of this program, respected Dean, Dr. Sheikh Kamal Muhammad Azam sir, for leading and inspiring us in working towards the goal of conducting this program. We thankful you, sir, for your huge support all the time. My heartfelt thanks to the Dean of Faculty of Medicine, Dr. Siddesh Silver sir, and the Dean Research, Dr. Sachi Paladi ma'am, for accepting our invitation and attending today's inaugural session. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I'm very much thankful to head of the various departments and faculties for their valuable contribution and suggestions. With immense pleasure, I extend my sincere gratitude to the faculties from various institutions for sparing your valuable time. Conducting this program would have been impossible without the zealous efforts of teaching, non-teaching staff who have devoted a lot of time and energy for this program. Thank you, team. I would be failing in my duty if I didn't thank all the participants who have registered for 2 weeks faculty development program. Above and beyond, let's not forget the backbone of this program, our conveners, Dr. Sabina Banu ma'am, Head of the Department, CSC, Dr. Shabana Tabassum ma'am, Head of the Department, ENC, and Dr. Naimuddin sir, Head of the Department, Mechanical, coordinators, organizing committee members who went an extra mile and made the dream a reality. Thank you, ma'ams. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, my extraordinary team members. Needless to mention that our IT department has taken care of audiovisual system very nicely so that the event will proceed without interruption, inshallah. Last but not the least, my sincere thanks to our media committee for covering the event so nicely. Thank you, team. I conclude by saying, जुस्तजू हो तो सफ़र ख़त्म कहाँ होता है, जुस्तजू हो तो सफ़र ख़त्म कहाँ होता है, यूं तो हर मोड़ पे मंजिल का गुमा होता है. सीखने आए हैं तो सीख जाएंगे, सीखने आए हैं तो सीख जाएंगे, उम्र के हर मोड़ पे सीखने का मज़ा होता है. Thank you so much once again. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. So, sharp at 12 o'clock or session 1 will start. Thank you.
Okay. So, so good afternoon, everyone. So nice to see you all in this faculty development program. So because we have an audience of 3 branches, that is computer science, electronics and communication, and mechanical engineering. So the first session, we thought it to be very basic. So to understand what are the applications of it, how you can use it, and at what level the AI research is going on. So we restricted ourselves to this. And in the afternoon session, we'll go into a deep, a part of theoretical of what is happening with deep neural network. And then one more session, we'll be working on large language models and what is the basic theory behind it and how it evolved. And we also will look at what is a new concept called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, which is actually a next level of ChatGPT. So this will be the 3 sessions we will be conducting, till the second part today. So how many of you are from computer science? Okay, so a lot of them are from computer science. How many of them from mechanical? Okay. How many of them from electronics? So we have, okay. So this may be a little bit boring for computer science. Please bear with me because we have to address all the audience. So I put a very basic stuff in this, okay? So, yeah. So before going to understand what is artificial intelligence, okay? And everyone are seeing it, and we also know a mission of it, okay? Now the fundamental question we need to ask is, what is meant by intelligence? When do you say a human being is intelligent? What activities of human being are actually making a person intelligent? So anyone can tell, or how can we tell a difference between a machine and a human being? And one component is intelligence. And how do you define a person as intelligence? Like, how do we differ ourselves from the machines? What the computer 20 years ago could not do is actually doing now. Okay, so can anyone tell what are the components of intelligence? Yeah. Okay, teachers only ask questions. So yeah, anything. Why how are we different from machines in terms of intelligence? Decision making. That's very good. Innovation is very good, yes. Thinking is very good. I mean, we're all different. Machines can't think. Machines can't make decisions. And machines can't innovate. Actually, previously, printing press was the part of first industrial revolution, and it doesn't know what can be the next industrial revolution and it cannot guide itself. Like steam engine was actually taking us to the second industrial revolution, but it doesn't know what it has to innovate for the next generation. Okay, yeah, that's it. The 3 components. Yeah. Anything? We as engineers try to do, which can be. So when you tell a student is intelligent in a classroom setting? When it is creative, when it is creative, when a person is creative. Yeah. And problem solving is also an important part. We engineers has try to do problem solving. So, various psychologists have actually proved like what are the traits of intelligence and when do you call a human being as intelligent? You know, learning, grasping, decision making, all these things come to that. But in an academic study perspective, psychologist has defined what is intelligence. So, you know, linguistic. So we feel to express in a language, which is also part of our civilization, how we evolved, and intrapersonal, like understanding yourself, what you feel and what you want. And the third thing, visualizing the 3D world. Your computer can't visualize a 3D world. It goes only with images. And understanding living things and reading nature. Like you can write poetry or you can understand nature. And so we give different names to various animals, which even they don't know that they possess that characteristics or whatever. Okay, so that's how we read the nature. Like moon doesn't have the characteristics we actually put to it, because we human beings out of imagination do all of that. Moon is just a celestial object, but we attribute so many characteristics to it, which is actually unique to our human beings. And music, yeah, designing sounds, their pitch, tone. So are there any music lovers? Everyone are here music lovers, right? So we know, we feel like people who create music are like maestro or gods to us, and we think that they have a kind of blessing. They're actually creating those tunes, which is actually not the instrument that are composing, but the humans are actually composing the music. Okay? And quantifying things, making hypotheses, and proving them, that is logical and mathematical. See, so we actually do not expect a mission to propose a hypothesis and prove it and perform an experiment and complete it. So we may use a mission as a tool, like a calculator, as a computer for simulation, and so many things. Okay, but so we don't expect a mission to be a logical or mathematical thing. We believe that that's the thing we have for human beings. Next, tackling the questions of why we live and why we die, existential. That is actually philosophy. So we have philosophers who think all these aspects of this thing. So that's what actually mission doesn't know why it is existing, and mission doesn't question itself why it is actually existing or whatever. Okay, but we have such philosophical questions. Okay, so missions don't overthink, but we overthink. So there are so many other aspects of it. So and interpersonal, that is seeing people's feelings and motives, and that's what we term the word empathy, understanding the other people, caring, kindness, all this happens. So a mission is not kind to another mission, so it doesn't happen that way. Okay, so this is what we talk about intelligence. Okay, so what exactly is meant by artificial intelligence? Again, I'm telling you, like I told you in the introductory speech, no one ever knows what AI can do, but the only thing is we have to, as a society, understand what is to be done and what is to be allowed and what is to be used with it. Because the world, it's a digital species which is going to be with us, so we don't know what is going to do. But at an academic perspective, what do you mean by AI? Okay, so as definition given by the founders of AI, it is an attempt of reproduction of human reasoning and intelligent behavior by computational methods. Okay, so whatever is possible by optimization, or which is actually computational methods, which the mechanical faculty more know about it. Okay, so that optimization, whichever human tasks we can evolve over optimization or computational methods, only those can be done by the artificial intelligence. So computation is very, very core to what AI can do. So what is computationally not feasible cannot be done by AI. what cannot be optimized computationally, it cannot be done AI. So where are the people who are looking at AI at the definition? It's actually an attempt. Previously, it's an attempt, okay, to mimic human intelligence. But by the end of this PPT, you will come to know that all the traits of human intelligence, what we have shown, can be done by AI. So it's already done and it is already available. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So what must to be an attempt has actually won the race. What we thought as an attempt is actually surpassing the human intelligence, right? So coming back to the whole path of understanding how AI is actually started. So we were in terms of artificial neurons and Turing machine, and there are n number of things. Okay, but what exactly is like the second AI winter is where people started ignoring AI. People felt like, no, AI doesn't work. We are like, human beings are far better. So people stopped it, all the research. But previous that, you have rule-based systems and all these things. So if you see in movies, I mean, I think many of you have seen robo movies and all, right? In that, when the hero Rajnikant actually puts the device for the demo, like the robo for demo. The person who is characterized as villain is another scientist will tell a dialogue, if you can remember. No one has seen robo movie. Can anyone tell that dialogue? So he simply tells that. Okay, we only remember music. We don't remember dialogue. Okay, so he simply tells that it's a simple inference engine, rule-based inference engine, which doesn't have any kind of emotions or intelligence. They tell that because that's what it does after going to save someone in a fire accident, or so. That's actually what was happening till 1980s or 1993. It's just a rule-based engine that it takes decision basing on the rules. Okay, so that actually failed. So people left AI, and then again, 1997, people thought again there was and IBM Watson and Google now and 14, 15. It's like way back in. I was telling when I was doing masters, I was working on natural language processing. So those days, our objective is to, in mobile phones, when we type a word, the next word prediction itself used to be a big task. Now ChatGPT is writing essays. So that prediction task itself, it was possible in English. It was not possible in Indian languages. So our whole PhD thesis or MTech thesis used to be on that particular single aspect of predicting the next word with just 60-70% accuracy. So that was the kind of limitations what AI had in those days. So it was very difficult to solve all these problems. It was like the Vice Chancellor was telling, Honorable Vice Chancellor was telling, it was not a single thought which has happened in a day. It was process of thoughts which culminated, and people shed all their 10 years or 15 years to improve these models, and we are seeing the fruits of it. Okay, so this is how, and if you ask me 1997 or 2002, these are very, very simple systems. I mean, the kind of task they solve is very specific and they are very simple. Okay. So in computer science, how many of you know what is Turing test, or any of you heard of it, Turing test? Can anyone tell? Just a, no? Okay, so it's very simple. So the person who actually are the founders of AI, there was an academic perspective. People tell that all the theories of computation, or the difference of human beings and machine will part away when there is a machine answering inside the room and there is a person answering from the other room. For whoever is standing outside, doesn't know what is inside the room, are not able to tell which is system and which is a computer. So the answers being told are they being told by the computer, or are they being told by the system? Okay, so that kind of mimicking is what Turing test actually tells. Then that time they tell that all the computation limitations what we have in a computer will actually fail. So that is what the last level of computer science people who study formal language and automata theory will come to know that the context length of, or I can put it in this way, the computers can take common sense that time. Common sense is the term. So in formal language automata theory, we call it as context. So we have context-specific grammar and context-free grammar. So the next level of context-free grammar is getting all the common sense. Okay. So that was actually a part of Turing test, and that chatbot has actually won the Turing test. Okay. So again, you know Alexa, right? Alexa is like it's like interactive, and it has some sense of common sense, not like what ChatGPT has. Okay, but at some sense, yeah. Yeah. So this is like if IBM as actually the pioneer in leading or trying to pass this Turing test in those days, and it was actually created a computer system which will actually win a game with the chess human opponent, and this like, because again chess is actually may have millions of moves, but it has a kind of rules set of thing where we don't think much of the common sense is like we human beings have a common sense that is needed in playing a chess game. So it's not very very part of it. Okay, so but they're able to do that in 1997. Okay, and so this is how actually artificial intelligence has evolved over the time, like from the very small rule-based engines doing very specific tasks to a very ChatGPT, which can do anything in the world it wants. So, and what are the various parts of artificial intelligence, like which actually drove this whole concept of AI? So this is what it is. So one is cognitive computing and computer vision, and then machine learning, neural networks, deep learning, NLP. So these are all very much related, but if you ask a person who is working on an artificial intelligence, they will pick one of these topics as their research topic and start working on them. So this is a broad, not very tight compartmentalization, but this is like academicians separate the areas to do research or activities. That they're all interlinked. Okay? So we'll see each of these components and try to understand, and whoever are from other branches can pick one of these and see that if this can be used as their as the research area, and one of them can help in actually solving their own engineering problems. Okay, so we'll see each of them in detail. Okay. So what is cognitive computing? We are expecting the a mission to simulate human thought process in a computerized model. That means, suppose if you take a radiology report or anything to the doctor, like how a doctor will use all his experience to tell something about out of that report. The doctor doesn't read the numbers back to you, right? The doctor, if you go and if he says like your BP is 100, 120, whatever is in the report, if he reads back, the patient will die there itself, right? So we don't want the doctor to read whatever is in the report. We want the doctor to summarize and use all his experience and take a treatment perspective of it. So that is called a cognitive ability to use all our intelligence, human intelligence, to bring back. So this is all, again, what is being done by machines. That is called the cognitive ability of human beings can be thought as an example, which is being done by AI. So one example is medical diagnosis. Yeah. So computer vision is like where we in our lab also work, and it's a very, very interesting topic. So we human beings see the world, perceive the world, and build perceptions and understanding and make so many decisions, right? So that's what people say, first impression is the best impression or whatever is like. So we decide so many things, our actions are done being on the vision we have. So, or else so many the other animal species also may have, but it's a very fundamental concept for us to learning, or you speak something, or whatever you do is very much dependent on vision. Okay, so can we make machines as intelligence in terms of vision? Okay, so what is a visual input to the computer? Can anyone tell? For us, a visual input is like all this, what we see, the 3D world which we have. So what can be the input for a computer to do all the vision tasks we do? Very simple, right? Yeah? Camera. So, the photos, right? Whatever photos you see. So the kind of decisions or inference we make from an image, a system can't make. Then I think computer science people can tell what is an image for a computer at a lower level. How does a computer see an image? How does it understand actually? Yeah? Pixels or next pixels or bits or else next here. For it, there is a mathematical term of grouping all this. Yeah? All these pixels. Yeah, tell, that's right. Yeah. Someone was telling, yeah. Matrix. Yeah. So it's just a matrix, nothing else. For a computer, without any ML, if you give an image, it's just a matrix. Now, over the 30, 40 years, people evolved from very small tasks like identifying a straight line in an image to drawing its own images. So that has come from the matrix. So till if you ask a computer, when you upload an image, it's a matrix. So all the calculations later on, as a linear algebra or calculus or whatever happens, computer vision techniques happens because of AI. Okay, so for us, our input as our eyes and our brain or whatever we think. Okay, so for a computer, maybe an input device is a camera or whatever. But for an AI algorithm, computer vision algorithm, it all starts with matrix. So what you are able to do with matrix and everything, then we make a lot of things of the computer vision. So very good example is nowadays, I think in airport also, there are some very, even in India airports where the check-in happens, I think I found it in Chennai or somewhere. So it happens directly with face. Everything comes. And even Chinese are using them even in traffic signals, or they have a very high level of citizen-centric computer vision systems to understand where the citizen goes. Okay, so this is a way of, so the computer is actually taking a matrix and doing all the calculations in the GPU and is actually giving you an output like a person is a valid authentication is actually giving. Authentication is telling a person is to be given access or not. Okay, so that is what a computer vision system does. Okay. No. And this is a very interesting topic. So there is a very fine line difference between AI, ML, and deep learning. AI is a very encompassing part of all the things we try to do to mimic human intelligence. And there is a subpart of it, machine learning, which will use statistical methods, and it has its own limitations. And it borrows a lot of things from statistics and probability, and will give you some inference or prediction or whatever. So it's purely a mathematical stuff. You can think about it. So there is one certain part of ML which is called deep learning, which has actually revolutionized all this. So deep learning, if you define, so what is an ML? ML is machine learning is an you can think the whole part what we are trying to do can be called as a function approximation. So if you really put me, what is happening in an ML But AI is a very different part. But for an ML, if you ask me, we go for function approximation. Okay. For a deep learning, we have some set of functions. If you find out the best function in that set of function, your task is done. The beauty of those functions are, they are universal approximators. You give me any function in the world, I will be able to represent that with a deep learning architecture. So it is some part of ML which will actually, maybe in the afternoon slide I should be able to tell you. So the upper part of deep learning is ML. But the only problem with deep learning is it needs a lot of computation. So over the time computation evolved, but actually ML is more superior to deep learning. But ML, some parts of ML has less accuracy and need less computation, like a regression or logistic regression, or there are some components we can do with a CPU. But deep learning architectures are to be implemented with GPU. But they have a lot of accuracy and they can approximate any function. So that was the beauty of deep learning. Again, but the problem is now people started having more computation. So even now the mobile phones may have GPU in the coming days. So deep learning, obviously it had more accuracy and it had more practical implementation, and we started using them. So, but coming to the ML part, which uses statistical techniques and which increases over the time. And so to put it more clearly in an ML, okay, so when we go to the doctor, there are no doctors here, right? Yeah. When we go to the doctor, do you like to go to a gold medalist doctor or a 20 years experienced doctor? Obviously, 20 years experienced doctor is what we go, because they evolve over the time. If the doctors has only, so we believe that as they have more experience, they improve upon their job and they are able to do, they are able to increase the level of perfection or increase the level of skill which they did not do 20 years ago. So in the same way, an ML program without explicitly programming will give you more output as you give more experience. So now the question is, what is experience? How do you give experience? You know how we give experience to the doctor, because they make a lot of mistakes and they have the more practice, they get more experience, right? So the point here is, in an ML, this is called training data. How do you give experience to an ML model? Very simple. It's training data. So there is no, the whole framework of ML model tells that you give experience, I improve the program, and I did not explicitly program it. Okay. Suppose if I tell you, as a very simple example, like what do you mean by explicitly programming? Okay. Suppose if I write a program to print prime numbers. Okay. After 20 years, it will still print the prime numbers. Okay. But over the time, if it feels like the people are asking only prime numbers from 1 to 20, and it takes a decision, if I ask them to print a random prime number, it doesn't print some 10,000 to 20,000, because over the time it knows that it is people are asking from 1 to 20, so I'll print only 1 to 20. Or some number between that, a random number between that, not the random number between 1 to infinity. Because all this it has learned, you did not explicitly program it, but you gave the training data. So that is what actually happens with ML. So you actually improve upon it. So the fundamental point of a computer program and an ML program is, you don't explicitly program for its improvement. That is, to the needs of it. So how do you do that? You give experience. How do you give, what do you mean by experience in an ML term? It is training data. That's it. Yeah. So this is called, this can be an interesting topic in ML called predictive analytics. There are ML models. Not now, there are many other advanced models of it, but 10 years ago, people are using ML models to actually control large factories. Predictive analytics, it can be called of it. I think you can also see the way we see cricket matches now is completely different like what we saw 10 years ago. Like everyone will be, the kind of statistics we get in IPL and the kind of projections they give, it's all part of a very big AI. And everyone know that, like Panama Papers, everyone know, I think. Everyone knows Panama Papers? Because, no? Okay, this is how an investigative journalist from, I think from London or somewhere, actually, when people start company, they start submitting lot of papers, and they submit lot of what we call IT returns and everything, right? So they scrutinize some 20,000 to, not even 20,000, like 1 lakh documents, and they predicted who are going to be the fraud in this. So if you type in Panama Papers in Google, you will also find a lot of Indian Bollywood stars and everyone being part of it, putting all the shell companies. So 1 million papers, they used an ML model to actually understand it and to make a decision like who had done the fraud. It's like a human being cannot do all this. So that's what I call predictive analytics, and it is purely an ML part, machine learning, what it just done. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So the fundamental concept of neural networks or deep learning, they both are similar. What we tell you is, I told you they are universal function approximators. You give me any input and output, there has to be a function between them, like to tell which part of your input is going to which part of our output. So any ML problem you give me, I have to write it in terms of input to output. Any research paper you study, you start from there, input to output. Okay. So everything else you do in the middle, like whatever you do, is actually you are defining a function, a mathematical function. You are approximating. How big is a function? How small is a function? What is its dimensionality? It's again a very different part of it. But at the core, what you are trying to do is, you are trying to figure out which part of input goes to which part of output. So that's it. That's like what we are trying to do. So I told you, neural networks, we have a set of architecture which actually mimics our human brain. We have neurons, everyone knows, right? We have neurons. Each neuron has a very minute computational capability. But when you compose all of them together, the kind of tasks they do are enormous. That's the very simple part. Now they designed a type of architecture which we allow composition of such smaller nodes to estimate a very large function or a large complex function, like what we do with a human brain. So there are millions of synapses which will actually combine together to give intelligence for a human being. In the same way, deep neural networks is actually doing that. Okay, yeah. So, a self-driving autonomous car is actually successful. A voice recognition or computer vision, speech recognition, all these were not solved. People were not being able to solve it using ML. Before 2013-14, people were not able to do that. When 2014, people started having enough GPUs to implement all the deep learning architectures, then we see all of these tasks. So deep learning has actually given you more accuracy, because all these tasks you want to be more accurate. So that is actually, but the trade-off is we need more computation power. So that is the point. So this can be self-driving. Yeah. So neural networks and deep learning are both similar. I mean, yeah. So the most important part, most buzzing thing now is natural language processing, which started in maybe 2005-06, or prior to that also. There are, if you ask me what was the very, very interesting application people were debating a lot in those days was separating your mail into spam and non-spam. That was the most successful part of NLP. Okay, and prior to that, what actually was done is Princeton University has created a database, which we call it as WordNet. The beauty of WordNet is there is also dictionary, right? Dictionary contains all the words. Okay, but dictionary contains words which are which are syntactically similar. What is that? The word man, okay, and another word, what we call, whatever which starts with M, is very near to the word man, okay. Which are syntactically similar. Only those two words are nearer. So when you want to pick a word and its neighbors, the way you store dictionary is not actually helping the computer programs. Okay, so very syntactically they are completely different. Suppose if you see the word France and if you see the word Paris, they are completely very separated in a dictionary. But you know they both are nearer. We know that because they have a hierarchical relation. But Paris is a part of France. So combining all these semantic relations, what Princeton University has done in a concept of WordNet. And that has actually changed the way Google gives you search engine in those days. If you search for hotels in France, you will be able to see the hotels in Paris also, those days. Because the words are not related syntactically, but they are related semantically. So you're able to do that because of that single database called WordNet. In India also we tried, so I think in Bombay and everywhere, people tried to create Indie WordNet, which will actually bring all the Indian words in that type of semantical relationship. So Google search engine problem was solved with that. And then again, people thought like, what is to be done next? So Google again, how many of you have seen Google Books? Google Books people have used, right? Right, yeah. So Google Books, Google had a billion book project, and what they did is, took all the words and understood the context of each word, how a word is used in the whole universal sense. And they gave a vector to each word. That is called word-to-vec. Now a word has become a vector. Now word has become a mathematical component. Prior to that, for image, you have a matrix. But I was telling you, computer vision was showing you small outputs because they know what to do with a matrix. Okay, so you see JPEG. JPEG is a compression of a matrix using linear algebra. Okay, so you took a very other space, but still you preserve a lot of information on it. So people were able to do that in 2000 and all. So while Google took the Google billion book project, scanned all the books, and they decided, I will have one vector for the word. The beauty of that vector is, it was able to capture the semantic relationships that are given in the WordNet without actually annotating, physically annotating and giving you. Physically, WordNet has actually, human beings has combined the relations and, there is a concept called morphological analysis, where people in computer science know, as actually breaking into components and putting them in a relation. So that was not done but they ran a deep learning network and was able to give word-to-vec. So if you see any ChatGPT architecture or anything, the input will always be word-to-vec because they already captured the context. Now the beauty of word-to-vec is the distance between man and the Euclidean distance between the vector given to man and the vector given to woman is same between the Euclidean distance of a king and queen. So it was that the people was a moment where they were able to give reasoning to the words mathematically. So then natural language processing, then the ChatGPT told, I will give extra input to that. So, and then that word to vector can be converted into doing lot of other, we call it as downstream tasks. You write a poem, whatever, all this has actually turned it. Yeah. So, is a branch of artificial intelligence that helps computers understand, interpret, and manipulate human language. But this is all possible because of word-to-vec. If you start any of them. But there are other embeddings of a word into a mathematical perspective, but that is again different. But the most successful is word-to-vec. So the ChatGPT, we are able to give. So the moment you type something in a ChatGPT word, all those words are converted into vectors. If you read the back-end code of it, you will find them. Okay, so then mathematical. And then next. Yeah. So I think I have shown you the kind of problem statements that are actually separated and each are individually addressed, like NLP, computer vision, ML, deep network. Or sometimes the ideas of ML are used in computer vision, and the ideas which are successful in NLP are being used in computer vision, and there is interrelation, but there's a broad, it's a one way of dividing the whole AI components, which are, so AI has so many things, it has robotics and many other things, but for our understanding, we can group them in this way. Okay. Now, so after this, what actually happened is, so here now we will go to the application part of it in real world, how they are happening, and all this human intelligence, whatever we are talking, we actually will see now. So one ma'am told it is learning, which we talk as human intelligence, okay? And we all started with the first definition. It was an attempt. It was an attempt to mimic human intelligence. But what happened is, so if you give me a human being and ask him to learn the words 24 by 7 for 365 days, 24 hours a day, and all his lifetime, he will be learning 8 billion words, or he will be able to read or understand. But an LLM will learn 8 trillion words in just 1 month. In just 1 month, it can pick the context of all these words, or you can have a way of making it an experienced person with 8 trillion words. So the learning component, which we felt as intelligent for human beings, which we tried to be an attempt, but now has become, it surpassed it, right? Yeah. So the next. So I'm telling creativity. People were telling creativity. We know all the artists can do so many things. But if you see, this is, everyone knows DALL-E, right? DALL-E, or it's a diffusion model which will help you to generate images, okay? So that's the prompt we gave to the model and asked them to imagine it. So an artist imagines, like you tell an artist, like, I want an image like this. So out of his creativity, the artist will draw it, right? But that is done by the machine now. So now there is a concept of creativity for so the machine, right? It is actually going it. So the DALL-E. So this is one more image which is generated, but this can be given even through a mobile also. The computationally it is taking less space. That is what, less computation power. So that's the reason we want to show another image. So we were actually able to do. This is given by Meta AI, and which is also embedded in WhatsApp, I was told. So you can type a command in that and you will be able to get that, which is done by the mobile itself. So this is like, say again, it is fast. It is faster than human being, okay? It is more creative. Even the world's best artists cannot imagine like this with such clarity. So we went through that creativity also. Yeah. So again, so still more examples we will see, like how we will come out of how AI is doing so many things. So yeah. So like we will come to the starting point. We try to understand AI. So all these components which we have in human beings, and this sort. And why are we telling all of this is, all of these fields can benefit from AI, and they can actually contribute to AI. So this is what this slide tells. And this is all applications, you know, like data security, astronomy, healthcare. So I think recently NASA used AI to generate the image of Milky Way galaxy. I suppose, like the way astronomy, it is used in astronomy. Automotive, you know, it is autonomous vehicles. People are extensively using it. entertainment, it's also robotics. The way you do shopping is also completely changed, e-commerce and all this. Okay, so this slide we want to actually tell everyone, like you can pick one part of this. So whether you want to look at in AI in healthcare, or AI in finance, or AI in gaming, data security, social media, AI in automotive industry, because these are all problems which have their own unique characteristics. If it is in finance, it has to be real time. In healthcare, it has to be low risk. And there are various trade-offs for each of the industries. Okay, so you can pick, and it is making a lot of changes nowadays, and people are imbibing it in so many ways. So you can think of it to pick one of them and start working on that. It will be a very interesting to collaborate with industry. So AI in finance is happening at a very very large scale. People are trying to use them in banking everywhere. So you can for computer science, it's an enormous opportunity. You pick any one of them, people are very ready to hire and collaborate and give projects and this thing. But usually it is better to pick one of them and do extensively on that rather than trying to solve all the problems. So to get projects in the sense. So this, yeah. Okay, so again, so I told you what are the risks and problems of AI. Okay, so the decisions AI makes. So everyone knows deepfake, right? Deepfakes. Everyone knows like deepfakes. Like so deepfakes has created a problem not only for the even for the government. It created problems. There were, even in the corporate industry, people transferred millions of money thinking that their CEO has actually initiated the the transaction. Okay, so deepfakes is also causing a problem. So yeah, so AI decision making and moral implication. Like when you use an AI system, what is to be, how we need to use it. Okay, so there's a decision. Now, will you allow the students to use ChatGPT in the classroom, ChatGPT in the examination, or ChatGPT in their company? So you have to take a decision, like what is to be done. So there is, again, we have to debate it. So the other day, I was reading a blog where in the Harvard Medical School there is a discussion on like whether to allow medical students to use ChatGPT during their examination. Okay, so if they use ChatGPT during their examination, it is a very threat to public health. So they thought that we'll not allow you to use them, but we will train them to use in clinical practice. Because if they don't use that in clinical practice, we're actually going backwards. So that was the decisions people have to make, how to use this. Yeah, so it's not obvious. The problem is it's not obvious. You can't, whether you use it or not, no. You have to decide, and there has to be a debate, and you have to take a call, like how it is useful or not. So job displacement, this will surely happen. So it's time for everyone to get skilled up and take that and have the best of it. Like the morning session I was telling, if you understand the past, it becomes history. So we should not we should make sure that we learn a lot of all these things to equip ourselves. So that's one part. And security risks. Suppose there are chances that if you give me an autonomous vehicle, it may go to the destination which your enemy wants. It's obviously possible. Okay. So again, are we taking real care in the pursuit of innovation? Are we ignoring such points? Like again, the morning statement which you tell, human beings make mistakes, but not blunders. We as a society don't make blunders, but AI can make blunders. So we have to again stop it. So that also has to be a parameter. Now LLM, ChatGPT, how safe is the ChatGPT for an adolescent kid or a 6-year child? We don't know. There are no till metrics to tell is LLM or ChatGPT safe for a kid. So we also need to again debate and tell, right? So when people invented the bike or motor vehicle, they may not think like, is it okay for people below 18 years to drive it? So innovation goes on its own way, but we as society should actually take a call. Where should it actually stop and go? So that is also an important part of it. So that's actually will come here. We need to take a decision whether to, how to use it ethically. Bias is actually happening, you know. Suppose if you talk about an English, if you ask about US president or something about the North people and the books in English, your ChatGPT will give a very good answer. But if you talk about books from Indian languages or whatever, the people in Indian or African continent, it's not as fair as not like it's not trained on that data. So it might not take decisions. So there is an inherent bias. So while you actually use that on a particular location, we need to be conscious like how biased it is going to be. So this is again to be discussed. And fairness, transparency. The other countries, so European countries are actually designing laws to ensure like before they deploy the system, are we ensuring that the bias is removed and how far we give transparency to the system. Okay. Yeah, so again coming back, so the next point is, so we'll quickly close with last 10 minutes. How much we have? 10 minutes? Okay, yeah. So we'll see now the real world examples or what exactly is happening in the world's best universities of how they are looking at AI, okay? So this is a wearable device which is in the part of lab in the Harvard. So allows human to control robots with brain waves. Okay? And if you play this, okay, just look at it and we'll see. Oh, it's not playing. Media novel. Oh my God. I think. Okay. Okay, so we'll see that. So this robo actually does is, it sets a table for you. If you think in brain and you want to have a bread spread, that robo will pick and put the bread spread for you. If you want it to make a coffee, it will make a coffee. Okay. Suppose there is a person who needs an elderly care and who cannot do all these minor things by themselves, this robo will do that. But so far again, we can talk about empathy and caring, which we think it's only possible for human beings to help others to lead a happy life, but the robo can also make everything ready for a person. Okay, so we also cross that path. So this is actually happening, and they already designed this robo, and I don't know when it comes, but it's happening, and it's feasible. Okay. And okay, actually I have to play a video, but this. So we feel like movie directors or cameramen are all a very creative and highly intellectual persons, and we ensure that we feel that they are at the next level of intellectuals because they create something and they imagine something, they put it in a beautiful form. Okay, but OpenAI has released a model called Sora. Okay, which you give a prompt, it will create a video for you. It will create a cartoon for you. Which that cartoon, if you ask a director in Disney Pictures to actually make a cartoon video, they may take 20 people and take 100 days, okay, to imagine and build the system and give it to you. But this is done in minutes. The model is going to create a virtual scenario where you can actually build characters and create a scene for them and do whatever it is for. So people, again, in terms of the way we understand systems, the way we create systems, and the way we imagine things, like I was telling you, so we imagine a lot of things about moon, and we imagine a lot of things about the sun or whatever. We always give so many characteristics to nature and or the things in the nature which are not actually to that. But you can also ask the machine to do same thing. Machine also, you tell the machine to give a philosophy to it, to give a whatever you talk it as an intelligence. Because so when do you love songs? We love songs because when the lyrics are very good and very inspirative, or that we call it as metaphors, analogies. Okay, so that analogies, whoever have created, we think them as the highest intellectual people. That's what happened in movies, songs and all, because the way they create analogy, we appreciate it and we enjoy it, okay? But that analogy can be given by machines also. So that can also be thought as a philosophy. Okay. Oh, so this was a very interesting. And this video, this video is actually OpenAI shared a video. Okay. Now again, we know, I think all this and very important part of human interaction is also like humor, right? Sense of humor. Okay. And the way we react to the situations accordingly. It's called spontaneity or whatever. There are many words. Like it gives a rich interpersonal experience. The kind of spontaneity we give, it gives a very, so when we expect the other person reacting to the situation in a positive way, we will have lot many, it enriches our life. Okay? But in this video, I don't know why we are not able to play. It's not connected to the net. No. Oh, this is not connected to internet. Yeah, please. We didn't download the file? I'm downloading. Downloading it. Okay. Yeah. So why I want to show this is, so when we take a decision, okay, we hear it, we see it, okay, we understand some text, and we actually take decisions. But in this, a ChatGPT will interact with that person by using all of these interactions. It takes image, it takes video, it takes text, and everything. Okay.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So what I want to finally tell is, where the research started with an attempt to mimic human intelligence, we all went to the part of surpassing it, and it is going to be everywhere now, okay? And the kind of, again, all the activities that are done by human beings can be done by AI. Whoever are into that field should make use of AI to do the tasks fast and go ahead. At some level, it may not replace, but it will, yeah. Wait for the program to respond. Yeah. Okay. The problem might be the version with the Microsoft Office. I'll close the file and open it again. Yeah. Oh. Okay. I think. Yeah. I think we have this video, right?
Did you know that now you can get a 17 to 25 lakh per annum salary package?
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm awesome. Listen, I got some huge news.
Oh, Do tell. I'm all ears.
Well, in a few minutes, I'm going to be interviewing at OpenAI. Have you heard of them?
OpenAI? Huh? Sounds vaguely familiar. Kidding, of course. That's incredible, Rocky. What kind of interview?
Well, it's for a software engineering role, but I just need to know, do I look presentable, professional?
Well, Rocky, you definitely have the I've been coding all night look down, which could actually work in your favor. Maybe just run a hand through your hair or lean into the mad cheese vibe. Your enthusiasm is what's really going to shine through.
I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to throw this on. What do you think?
Oh, Rocky, that's quite a statement piece. I mean, you'll definitely stand out. Though maybe not in the way you're hoping for an interview.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Yeah. So it's the ability. It's the ability, like what we human beings. Yeah.
Hey there. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Hey, how about you? What's up?
I'm doing fine. I'm gonna be a father real soon, and I think I can have your help with some dad jokes. I'm gonna.
Yeah, sorry. The point is, so far the systems were either dependent on vision or text or the spontaneous text summarization and all these things. So these are very, very separate fields. And to make a system to understand sarcasm or sense of humor was very difficult 5 years ago. And to combine them, all of them together in a real time and mimic a human emotion is a very, very tough task, but it is done now. Okay, so again, the emotional aspect of human beings connecting to other people has done by mission again. So if you want a very good friend, buy an AI friend. It's possible. Like it is possible in coming days because it's possible. So it's already there. This is what is happening. I mean, it's not new. But the problem is, may not understand Indian languages. It's possible.
Sir, whatever that lady voice is there, it's completely based on the training data set.
Yeah, it is based on the training data, and now there are systems where if you give me your voice samples of 20-30 minutes, I can mimic your voice to whatever text I want. So the text to speech synthesis, that models are very well trained now, and they are doing an enormous job. All this happened because of an architecture called transformer architecture that we will see in the later session. Okay. So I think close the program. Okay, so yeah, I mean 5 more slides, I think we will be done. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Why is it stopped? Yeah. Wait for the program. So to conclude, and we'll see if it responds or not. Okay. So to conclude, what was the point? What we will come to the end of this session now. So we all started with understanding how AI is defined and how it evolved over time and how it is doing n number of tasks and how it surpassed. And in future, you will see everyone have their own personalized AI devices, which will do lot of tasks for you, which will like whatever you expect from a human being to do, all those can be done by AI. Not maybe in 5 years or 10 years, but that's going to happen very soon. So that is what the whole introduction and the importance of AI. So in the afternoon session, we'll try to understand what is an LLM, and we'll see some basic of deep neural network and a very advanced system called RAG, retrieval augmentation, which is actually transforming the way people do business and the way the people do programming, and the whole software engineering is redefined on this term called RAG. So we'll go through that. So with this, if you have any doubts, you can ask. And the future of AI should be the last slide, but I told you orally. So that's what. So if you have any questions, you can ask. I'm happy to answer or discuss. So this is a lengthy lecture, 1.5 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
How we can improve AI is depending upon we have to give more training data sets.
True. True.
So there is no need of improving our programming level.
Actually, it is not necessary. Now there is a concept called reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is like, see, ChatGPT, the way it was given to you in 2023 is actually different the way it is working in 2024 now. So the all the hallucinations or the kind of mistakes it makes was not doing it now, because this is called, so if you put it in a very simple way, you train a model, deploy it. That's one activity. After you deploy the model, you update the model using a concept called reinforcement learning. That's like how a child learns. If it does good, you appreciate. They will do the reinforcement, the same activity. If you give them a negative reward on that, they stop doing that. That is called, this is negative reinforcement. So if you make a model to do that reinforcement, so there is no need to again program it again. So reinforcement learning itself should be sufficient to improve the accuracy of the model. Only thing is, if you want to build a new system again, the programming is done. And I think in the coming 4 or 5 years, programming cannot be thought as what we were in computer science, we believe as programming. It is like AI paired programming. How many of you heard Copilot? Microsoft Copilot, you are using it, so it is doing extensively good. The only thing is, you should have the patience and sit with it and understand the code it had written and understand the code it had written and debug it. That's it. And have basics of it, because if you don't have the basics of it, again. But again, you can ask the Copilot to teach you the basics. It will also teach you. So that's what. So programming, I think, understanding conceptually is sufficient. Programming as a skill in the coming years, I doubt it. Without support of AI, you are being a. So now the concept, the word people are using is AI paid programming. So you have to go to AI paid programming. Only then you are efficient. That's all. So I have an experience because I was doing an intern in a company, in a US-based company, and so I was there for only 2 months, but 1 year the team has actually designed one large project and went to the board of the company and told, we designed this. Then they told, ChatGPT gives it in 1 day. Why did you take 1 year for this? So it is necessary for you to update. So they lost the opportunity. So again, that's the point I want to answer. So now people should everyone move to AI paid programming in computer science, because I know as a computer science faculty, we always ask them to write again the prime numbers program. the Hello World program. Everything starts with that. I think, but that's okay to understand the concepts, but not that cannot be a complete skill to define a programmer in coming 4-5 years. Now it is okay, but coming 4-5 years it doesn't happen that way. Yeah. Yes. Anything else? Any questions? Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Now the last one, Omni ChatGPT O. Yeah. It combines. Yeah. No. It combines all of them. So this is called multimodal ChatGPT. They did not give it outside. So now you are interacting with ChatGPT, the text. That is at the console you are typing and you are seeing the response. But the text and the voice are actually combined in a real time. But this is done now. They did not release it. They call it as GPT-5 or whatever. But there's a lot of innovation going on combining audio, video, text together. 2023, yeah. No. Again, so this is the point actually. What happens in software engineering is, before deploying a model, they freeze it. No more updates. So this is 2023 only. So this is not a model available for it. So any model you see in ChatGPT in coming days, they have to freeze on some day or the other and deploy it and see it. And then again upload it. That's what happening, reinforcement learning, because or else they will get mistakes in deployment time. So that is the reason. So you will find that restriction for some days. So again, that's what I'm telling you. The question you asked can be solved by RAG. Retrieval augmented generation can actually solve that problem. If you want your ChatGPT to look towards the latest data, you need to deploy a RAG model, which will actually tune your model to get the updated data. So that's what programmatically people are doing. But how it comes into that particular interface, it's again the company will actually decide. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. The RAG and agent is a concept now, which will tune your ChatGPT to get the latest data and give it to you. That's what the companies are using now. So that's called agents. Agents is a so so to put it, industry is looking at a ChatGPT has a model with a lot of common sense. And yeah, please. Yeah, DAL. No. Now ChatGPT has another component called DAL-E, and it generates images. Now again, people are, so again I'm telling you, natural language understanding and the computer vision are actually separate till now. Now the whole research is doing in combining these two, because we human beings combine these two. So how do you combine these two? And this is multimodal research is happening at a very, that's what everyone are investing on, that multimodal. So how do you combine text and this thing? Okay. Any more? Yeah. So this is again neural link, and again, yeah. So I think this we have seen in news article, a chip is embedded in the brain of a paralyzed person and was able to communicate with the system, the computer. Okay. So again, this is true actually. These are more dangerous than nuclear weapons. AI is going to be more dangerous, but again, it is again very transformative, and we have to hold it and use it for the humanity is what. So this is like what we'll have. In a coming 20-30 years or so far, everyone will have their own family of robots rather than family of human beings. It will be. But not immediately, I can tell you. But still, it is happening in that way. So the previously, people used to have one English tuition, one maths tuition, one chemistry tuition, and all this. But now everyone are going to ChatGPT. And with RAG and agents, people can do so many other things also. So this is going to be like, it can also be your friend, it can also be your companion, it can be your medical advisor, and investment advisor, and so many other things. What we all expect from a well-wisher can be given by an AI device. Not immediately, but this is how it is going to happen. So with that, I'm done. Thank you for registering the slide. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much for attending this morning session. Now we will we will reassemble at 2:15. Sorry, okay, 2:15. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. So welcome back to the second session. So in this class, we are going to see about some practical applications of AI. The first part will be a theoretical understanding of what exactly deep learning is, and then we will go back to large language models, and we will see how we can create our own chat GPT. So there are, like morning there was a question, the information source of chat GPT is open internet, but the data what you want the chat GPT to work on may be your own data. So how do you do that? So that we will also see various code snippet and some kind of output also will go through that. Okay. Yeah. So again, coming back to what I was telling in the morning, the whole data. So the point is, if you want a machine to be intelligent, you have to give it experience. So the way you give experience is the training data. So it improves upon without explicitly programming it. Now, so the how you give the data: text, images, speech, structure, and any 3D signal. Okay. So now there is a concept called, if you remember in the morning session I was telling you, artificial general intelligence. Okay. So the general intelligence is you want one model to understand all these different types of data. Like how what is it? Mic is about? Okay. So yeah. So there is this concept of, for every task, do we need to design a model and deploy it? That was the question. So even if you take in a speech processing or language processing, there are so many tasks. So do we need to design one model for one task? That was the question. But later on people found that no, it's not necessary. If you have one foundation model, okay, which will be trained with large amount of data and will be left to you, then you can train it on your own tasks. So those are called foundation models. And one example for that is ChatGPT, whichever you are seeing is a large language model, and it's a kind of foundation model because it's trained on billions and trillions of text or words or data, which you can actually tune it for your downstream different set of tasks. So if you take ChatGPT, it will summarize the text for you, it will write a poem for you, it will correct your grammar, it will also give rating to whatever you write. So but these are all different set of tasks previously. But now one ChatGPT can do that. So that is what is called foundation model. So say all the tasks whatever you have, suppose it's like question answering, sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is, so if I give you a tweet, you should be able to tell whether it is a positive tweet or a negative tweet. So which is a very, very simple task for a human being. But for a machine it is a very tough task because it has to embed common sense into it before we tell. Suppose there is a sentence like, you are a great person, and there is a sentence like, you are a great person. So there is a very different of it because the words are same, but the context is different. So that's called sentiment analysis. Now again information extraction, and if you can see now the latest LLM, which is called large language model, one example to is this ChatGPT, can do all of these tasks. If you still feel like you want to fine tune it to some of it, the task which we'll see in the last slide, you can actually do that. Okay, so that is called foundation model. So there are various foundation models coming for, like ChatGPT, we also have Llama, and we also have DALL-E for imaging. And so for every activity which we want to do, we will have foundation models. Incoming, suppose this, there are mechanical engineering, you know, partial differential equations. Solving partial differential equation is a tough job. Now they are building foundation models to solve partial differential equation. Suppose if you give any partial differential equation, it will solve it and give you the answer. So it will be a very, and there is this AlphaFold in Google DeepMind, which will be able to predict complete a clinical trial, not clinical trial, complete a or decrease the time we require to design a drug molecule. That is, it will be able to predict the protein structure from so many things. So that is also can be thought as a foundation model. Okay, so these are various foundation models being developed. Yeah. So coming back to subparts of machine learning. So these are all various aspects of it. So just to give you a glimpse of what is actually in machine learning. Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So any in terms of ML task or any task you do as a research or anything, you have to put it in 4 of this. Any one of these 4 has to be done. Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. That is like solve. Suppose one example is supervised learning is you already have the data for which you already have the labels. Okay, that means you already tell to the model how does a cat image look like and so on. That's one thing. But for unsupervised learning is, suppose if you want to detect a fraudulent transaction, you don't know what is a fraud transaction, you cannot give labels. Occasionally they evolve, the fraudulent activities in a financial transaction, they evolve. We do that by picking out the outliers which do not follow a common pattern. We think it as an outlier and try to assess it and see if it is a fraudulent transaction or not. So that we don't give labels. That is called unsupervised learning. Semi-supervised learning is, I will give you very small amount of training data with the labels. Labels is telling that what is the output for each input, and I ask you to figure out. So that's called clustering, classification. We'll come back to that. So finally, reinforcement learning. People ask me in the morning session, what is actually ChatGPT? Is it having a limitation? It will not give after 2023 data. No, the way you are using it now, you are actually inputting your 2024 data, how people are thinking, what is it, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. So the model is improving even after it is given to the end user. In a software program, when you give it to the end user, the changes that happen in the program are not called programming. They are called as testing. At the deployment, what happens. Suppose, so take an example of a building. If you construct a building and still you are making modifications of it, it is not called construction, it is called maintenance. In the same way, if you take a program and write it and deploy it at the client side, whatever it happens is called maintenance, and the improvement you make during maintenance can be called as reinforcement learning. So that's what happens with ChatGPT. So it is improving. So that part is called reinforcement learning. Even one example is self-driving car or stock marketing. We can come back to that. So in the morning I was telling you, in a machine learning, in a normal programming, you give the input, you also give the program, it will give you the output. Okay. In this, you give the input and you also tell what can be the possible output, and at the end it will give you a program, which when you deploy that program at the client location, it will make some intelligent decisions. So that is what a difference between a traditional programming and an ML program. Yeah. So in the previous slide, I told you there are supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised learning, what you call reinforcement learning. In supervised learning, there are 2 problems called regression and classification. Okay. So there is nothing much difference, but the only difference is what is the output. Okay. So yeah. So to tell, if you give me some 5 parameters, okay, I will tell you what will be the price of a particular house in a city. Like you tell me the number of rooms at that location and some values, I'll give you a price, which is actually a real number. Okay, any value on the real number is possible to be a valid answer for that. So your output is the whole real line. So when you are trying to solve such problems where your output is a whole real line, you call it as regression. You call that problem as regression. Okay. But sometimes your output may be 2. Like the decision may be, will I buy the house or will I not buy the house? Or I'm processing a loan application in a bank. I'll take all the parameters and my decision is not how much money I will give you. My decision is whether to give the loan or not to give the loan. If I give, that decision can be called as classification. So the way we write the ML programs completely changes if it is a regression or if it is a classification problem. So we need to separate. Your research problem has to be separated whether you are going for a regression or classification. Now again, the last thing is clustering. Like I told you, you give me a lot of, suppose you think in the middle diagram everything is some kind of transactions. Okay, I can divide, I can plot all of them and divide. This can be good transactions, bad one, and this to be verified. So I can divide. I don't need to understand. You tell me what are fraudulent transactions. No, by understanding the inherent patterns, I can tell you. So it is always good to understand at an abstract level what our problem is going to be, whether you are talking about clustering, classification or regression. One of them is classification and the second thing is clustering. This example is so high. And the thing is regression. So if you see, and many of you know, if you study linear algebra, regression can happen with dimensionality reduction, so which is technical in inorganic. Okay. Again, this is an example: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning.
So regression, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Regression is always continuous.
Regression is always continuous. So the output is.
Only binary.
It may not be binary. It can be multiple, but it's like it's a discrete. You can think it as a discrete. It's discrete. I like you can simply put it as finite number of and countably finite. That's what it may be countably infinite also, but like you said, it's not continuous. You don't want it to be continuous. Yeah. So, okay. So supervised learning is we are telling like what is to be done initially and what can be the input output, and we also show them what are the cat images, how do they look, and then trying to classify. Okay. Unsupervised, like over the time people evolve and learn how to separate into patterns. It's like automatically identification the patterns. Okay. So reinforcement learning is, I told you, it is reward. Environment will reward you. If you do good thing, it will reward you in a positive way. If you do it in a negative way, it gives you negative record. So accordingly, you modify your parameters, but you can think you modify your model here. You can think it as you are modifying the model. Okay. Yeah. So there are many number of models for a kind of, if you ask me clustering, there are many methods. If you ask me classification, there are many types of classification methods and so on. So most of the time in our effort lies in understanding what is the right data and what is the right model. It will be a very tough task. So at the abstract level, we need to understand how good is our data, and how suppose there are certain models. If you learn a deep learning architecture, it's called data hungry. You need to have enough number of data to successfully train a deep learning model. But for a regression model, I think some 20-30 data points should be sufficient. So accordingly, we have to decide. Okay. Yeah. Suppose if you have a problem which you are doing so far manually or anything, how do you convert it into an ML problem? So first one, you define a problem and you need to identify the data, because data is the how we embed experience into the model. So that's the fundamental important concept. And this is called data engineering, but nowadays this is also a step for it, but this is automatically being done. There are enough number of packages which will actually clean your data. So yeah, people who are doing optimization also may know. You need to make it zero mean, standard deviation as one, unit standard deviation. So all such, if you have a two continuous and one discrete, make all of them continuous. No, there are various steps of it. So you need to do that. Okay. And we need to pick the right model. So even in ML, even in deep learning, there are so many options which model you actually take. And then training the model. Okay. So what exactly is training the model? We will see in the next slide. What do you mean by training the model? And so there is this concept of whenever you talk about a model, there are two phases for it. One is training the model and the other one is testing the model. Okay. So to simply put it this way, suppose if you are assessing a doctor who is an MBBS graduate, okay, whatever he does during his study, treating the patients or whatever a person does in house surgeon, that can be thought as training. Whatever they do, if there is a mistake, they update their knowledge accordingly. So they are changing, they are tuning, they take a decision, they tune it, they are supervised, and till house surgeon whatever they do, it is called training a model. Okay. But how useful a doctor is to the society, it's not you cannot describe it at the MBBS degree. Okay. We should actually put them in the real situation or the situations in which the doctor already doesn't know and find out, assess their capability. So that is called testing the model. In the same way, when you define a machine learning model, during training, you will tell the model how to update itself to predict correct output for an input. That is one step. And the second step is, I will show it some data which it did not see in the training and assess its performance. That is called generalization performance. So a model should work well on the training data and should also work well on the test data. So there are a lot of theory and philosophy, but traditionally a machine learning model, if you want to assess its capability, you have to test the model on the data in which it has not seen before you deploy it. Okay. Yeah. Then you deploy the model. Okay. So testing is a kind of assessing how confident we are. Suppose if you frame a hypothesis, you believe in it, and later on you also test the hypothesis at I mean you can think it as a prototype. It's a kind of prototyping the model. And so we saw ML, okay, and so morning we saw artificial intelligence, and then we saw ML. I told you there are 4 types of ML: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and then reinforcement learning. So you pick a problem, you figure out in which of these 4 parts you fit, and accordingly take, and each of them had a different algorithm. You take them and you try and test or whatever, deploy before you do that. That's the traditional setup. Now, and the next thing is deep learning. So in the morning session I was telling you, okay, again I am trying to give a flow, so I am repeating. So in the morning session I told you there are certain set of algorithms in machine learning, a subpart, which try to mimic the structure of human brain, where millions of synapses are connected. Each synapse, or I suppose the term may be each neuron, which will perform a very small activity. But the composition of all those activities will give you a very complex activity. So in the same way, there are certain algorithms which are deep learning algorithms, which will allow you to take each node, okay, and make each node do a very small activity, and the composition of that small nodes, okay, will be helping you to perform complex tasks. Can you tell me in a computer science, in a normal deep learning architecture, the number of nodes you will have? Any idea? neurons, not in human brain, in a normal deep learning you accept. Yeah, I mean, there are, any basic model will have millions of parameters, and nowadays there are billions, and soon there will be trillions of nodes. Like nodes and parameters are interrelated. Number of parameters you will have depend on the number of nodes. So there are trillions of nodes. So like trillions of nodes which perform very small linear algebra task. Very small linear algebra task when combined perform the tasks of human intelligence. That is how what lies at the core. At a very basic level, each node perform the task of, if you remember, it is a hyperplane separation. You draw a line, you are telling if the points are left side or right side, that's it. Every node does only that, it doesn't do more than that. But billions of nodes that over some kind of other calculations are actually giving you very complex functionality. That is what again neurons in human brain does. You will see that. So that is what actually deep learning allows computational models that are composed of multiple processing layers to learn representations of data with multiple levels of abstractions. Okay, so there is this concept of nodes and the next concept of layer. Okay, suppose I give you a very simple example. I'll give you 4 parameters. Okay, and I'll ask you to predict the price of a house. Okay, if I give you 4 parameters like the number of rooms in the house, okay, the number of cars in the house, and there are another 2 parameters. By looking at these first 2 features, number of rooms in a house and number of cars in a house, you will have one high level abstract feature in your brain. You will divide if they are rich, poor, or middle class or upper middle class by having a weird combination of these first 2 parameters. Suppose I tell you there are 5 houses, 5 rooms in the house and 3 cars, you believe that they are upper middle class. I didn't tell you, but we take that high level abstraction. Okay, and based on that you will guess what will be the price of that house. So in the input data there may be n number of parameters, but at the next level you make an abstraction, and then you make an abstraction, and then so on, and then finally that abstraction will solve so many problems. So that's what is meant by multiple levels of abstractions. So the model itself will create that abstractions which human beings may not do, because I gave you only 2 features and ask you to predict a next level abstraction, you are able to do. But that abstraction has nothing to do with the final task. But you got in mind whether they are upper middle class or middle class. You created a new feature. Okay, but that, if I give you 10,000 parameters or 10,000 values, input values, you will not be able to do. But that the DL does. Okay. Yeah. So
the drawback of machine learning, you need to say. It can't handle the values of data as compared to deep learning.
No, machine learning, there is a subpart of ML, deep learning. So deep learning has a restriction, like you have to take a combination of nodes and they have to be transforming you from one space to another space and then give the final output. ML do not have such restriction. So we were taking a restricted space of ML and coming to deep learning. So deep learning is part of ML. So there is again a trade-off. Like I told you, deep learning, you are restricting an architecture, but you are having, the problem is once you restrict an architecture, you have you need more computation. Deep learning needs more computation. If you see a traditional regression algorithm which is part of ML can be implemented with a CPU. But a basic deep learning model needs a GPU to complete it. So the difference is, if you want more accuracy, you need more computation. So but ML is more, it may work some cases with less computation, but it also has less accuracy. So deep learning is part of ML. It's again, that's all.
One One more question so far.
Yeah, please.
I don't know whether you are going, I think you are going to cover that one.
Yeah.
So how to decide how many number of layers does required to
Yeah.
perform a particular task?
Yeah, that's true. That is this is called a hyperparameter.
Okay.
So there are two types of parameters when you train a model. One is you ask the training data to fix the parameters. Basing on the data, I will fix the parameters. Before seeing the data, basing on my knowledge, I will tell this will be the architecture, this will be the number of layers without seeing the data. So that is called hyperparameter. You need to fix it. So that's again comes by practice. There is no, it's a kind of heuristic. There is no number of layers. So usually people will go, suppose if you take ChatGPT, it has traditional 6 encoder decoder layers. That's the architecture they built it, and everyone who designs ChatGPT, their own ChatGPT does that. So it has to be designed. It's a nice question. Number of layers, we can we have to experiment and decide for your problem what are the number of layers. There is no. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. In a traditional previous kind of, we were telling you rule based engine, like in the initial level it was purely rule based. Okay. So then in those cases there is called some handcrafted feature extractor. Suppose the moment I sell you car, if you want you to identify an object called car, you will definitely look at tires, a steering, a particular. So you need to figure out if they are there in that or not. You will tell the model, check for such features. If they are present, give a score. If they are not present, give a negative score. And add that score and tell me a decision if it is car or not. That is called handcrafting. People have done identifying the feature. Okay. So, but deep learning is automated feature extraction, I will tell you. Okay. Yeah. So, these are traditional models which will take the help of their features. Okay. Suppose if you want to, this is done in in 2000s also we used to do that. So, I specifically wrote a program to identify Telugu letters using deep image processing. So here, you know, the moment I say A, you want the kids to identify, like if there is a slanting line, if there is a straight line. So we'll look for that. If that is there, then it will increase, and basing on that, you give a traditional ML model, it will tell you. But initially you have to fix what are the F you need to pick. That will be actually telling you. So that is called feature extractor. Okay. This is a traditional ML setup. We are telling how it is different from. Yeah. So the ability of human beings to understand a very large matrix and figure out what are the features necessary for a particular task is very restricted. So now the question is, are there models which will allow to automatically extract the features? Okay. So if you, yeah, we'll come back to that. So these are the various areas where we automatically extract the features. I'll tell you. Okay. Yeah. So you can see the difference. This is trainable feature extractor. So depending upon the data, it will decide which are the features it has to concentrate. You need not tell. You give me millions of letters A and what are that labels, millions of A images and what are that labels. The model will figure out which features to look at when I give a new letter. Okay. So it's purely dependent on data. The moment you give a different data, the moment the features it want to identify will be different. Okay. So this kind of feature extraction is done. So the problem is these features, if you try to understand the features extracted by the deep learning, sometimes it doesn't make sense for human being also. But still it solves the problem. So that is why if you have heard the term, deep learning is a black box. Okay, because the features it is actually extracting, how it is going from data to that features, and that features to output is again a question mark. So the interesting field of study is explainable AI, which will which is trying to solve these problems. Why is it picking a particular feature? So this is also one of the reason why it is not suitable in medical or healthcare. So its decisions we are not able to figure out for human beings, are not able to interpret why is it that taking that decision. So that abstraction, why is it taking at the layers of abstraction, we are not sure. Yeah. So again, so previously what people have done is speech recognition. They used Gaussian. So we need not go into details of it. Okay, and they use some a very basic level. So remember this term: low level features and mid level features. Low level features of an image are like identifying the straight lines, okay, edges, or some kind of which mathematically we can represent very easily. So those can be called as low level features. Those are given by HOG, is called histogram of gradients. So image will have a gradient, but let us not go to that technical stuff. But the part is, this low level features at the low level layers, whatever we get, are understandable, and then we do it later on. We will see what went by pooling and everything. Okay. Yeah. So traditional, we have a feature extractor, and later on people thought we can create one more level of abstraction, mid level features, and then give it to normal ML model for classifier. But now this is it. Low level features, mid level features, and high level features. Low level features will make sense for you, but mid level and high level features are not for human interpretation. We can't decide. So that is what actually made AI black box. Sorry, deep learning especially black box. So if you go to any industry and if you tell them a deep learning solution, they will not accept it. They are always happy with machine learning because they have a theoretical understanding of why it is giving an output, and it is clearly explainable, but not a deep learning model because of these two mid level features and high level features. It's a problem. So if you see low level features, I think you can make a sense of it. Straight lines, it is looking how it is looking. Okay, but if you see mid level features, you do not know. Okay, high level features, okay, it is creating a very complex object. So you cannot design a mathematical equation which will give you a shape like this. If you are able to do that, there is no need of data. Okay, so the mathematical equation it cannot do. So we pick it from the data. We go for a random initialization of the of that particular kind of what to call, or we can put it in a different way. You know, everyone knows a circle is an infinite combination of lines. You can think of it. It's an infinite combination of lines. So any of them can be given with an infinite combination of lines. Okay. So that is what each node can be thought of a line. Okay. So how do they combine infinitely is what the data will tell you. It will go for a random combination, and you get an error. You come back, you correct it, and do. So this is what is happening with the last shape. So these shapes, a normal mathematical ML equations are not able to give, but deep learning is able to give. Okay, and if you find 4 features like this, you can tell that it is a car. There are more details in it, but at a higher level, this is what is happening. Okay, yeah. So usually, traditionally, a model will have around 160, 170 layers. Okay, so each layer we cannot even interpret also. Yeah. Now coming back to this, what do you mean by a very basic neural network? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, so the fundamental structure, there are some certain terminology you need to understand when you tell the word deep learning. Okay, the first one is node. Okay, each of the circle is node. This is the output you want. If you want only one output, you have one node. If you want 2 outputs, you also need one node only, because that's like probably, sorry. Okay. Oh, it's touch screen. Yeah. Okay, understand? Yeah. So depending upon, so your input, you know how many inputs you want to give. For suppose if it's a house price prediction, it may be 5 parameters you are giving. So you may have 5 nodes. Input doesn't do anything. Okay. Output is depending upon how many outputs you want. If you want 4 outputs, you take 2 nodes or 4 or whatever. If it is classification or regression or whatever. Okay. So these two are input output. Sorry. Okay. Sir. No. Yeah. Yeah. So so the whatever you do in the middle. Okay. So each nodes, the nodes, total number of nodes will be divided into layers. So again, why do we need layers? Because we know to solve a problem, a composition, an abstraction happens. So that is how it happens in a human brain. So when I look at a view, I will take some part of it, create my own abstraction and one more abstraction, and have that in the brain and then do the activity. Okay. So this, to mimic that, they have this concept of layers. So there is number of nodes n, each of them nodes are grouped into called layers. Okay. And the beauty is within the layers there is no connection. Within the layer there is no connection. I know what every node does. Okay. What are my parameters is how much is the, so always the connections are from previous node to the present node. Layer L minus 1 to layer. So the middle, whatever layers are called as hidden layers. So these are the 3 terms you have to remember. Okay. But this is how the architecture is. There are nodes. Nodes are separated into concept called layers, which actually represent abstractions, and then layers are 2 types, input output, and the other one is hidden layer. Okay. Number of hidden layers, like sir was asking, it is a heuristic. You do not know how many hidden layers you want. And the second one is and the second one is there is no connections within the layer. Okay. And you will see that. Yeah. Okay. Now the question is, what are the last thing is, what are the parameters? Okay. These connections you are seeing are parameters. Okay. So only thing you can modify in an architecture is what are the value of that parameters. Okay. Now what does exactly parameters indicate? You are not sure what parameters actually indicate at this level. You need not worry to understand what geometrically it means, but now intuitively it means that a parameter is helping you to, which we can modify during the training, so that it makes correct prediction. Those are the arrows, the weightage you give to the arrows. That's what, that's it. You understand that? Okay. Sorry. Okay. So if this is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, you had actually drawn a very you created a 3-layer neural network. Sorry, 2 hidden layer. Input is not actually counted, so it is a 3-layer neural network. Okay, with this code. And the parameters are, the connection to layer 1 are denoted in a matrix called W1, and the connection to layer 2 are denoted with a matrix called W2. B1 and B2 are called bias, that we will see geometrically. But these are the parameters. So the way you change W1, W2, okay, is actually giving you a different input to output mapping. Weightages. The way you say, I'll come back to that. And what is that sigmoid function? Like I told you, straight lines have a restriction. They cannot represent complex shapes. Okay, but sigmoid function can represent a complex shape because the curvature of it. And the other part is, when you have a loss, you can differentiate the loss, and this function is differentiable. I think it's getting too mathematical, but don't worry. The point what we try to emphasize is the structure of that sigmoid function is helping you to get the complex. Okay. During training, the only ability you have is to modify the parameters. These are the parameters. Those are the linkages. These can be thought as of weights. So So this node performs the activity, the first node. Okay. How much important is the 3 inputs to that particular node is given by the weight. Again, come back to that housing prediction example. I told you, give you 4 parameters: the number of cars in the house, number of the average salary, the number of rooms in the house. Okay. And the one more thing is, it is location from the how far it is from a public transport. Maybe these are the 4. Okay. So you go to the next level abstraction to tell if they are middle class or upper middle class. Okay. The first 2 parameters are sufficient for you, like the number of rooms and number of cars will tell you. The other 2 you don't give weightage to decide this what this particular node represents. So that can be thought of those weights. So for this particular, if you assume this is denoting actually if they are upper class, middle class or upper middle class, okay, this last one may not be useful for you. The first 2 are sufficient. So that's called parameters. So you predict the house price. You felt like, okay, so I did a wrong thing. They are not upper middle class. Okay, so then I come back, I correct it again. I modify my weights. The way I define upper middle class actually changes. This is called parameters updating. Okay. Yeah. So I told you each node performs a very small activity, and a final function can be given by a composition of functions. Okay. I told you if you want to estimate a circle, okay, with 3 lines you can make an error. You estimate it. 3 lines you make a error. Okay. With 20 lines, maybe you are nearer to the circle. Sorry. 1000 lines, okay, you are nearer to the more your structure is similar to the cycle. So in the same way, each line can be thought as a single function, and overall the composition of functions, the way I combine the functions will give me a complex structure. So in the same way, the way everyone knows what is a composition function, right? H of f of g of x or y, where we struggled a lot in high school mathematics. Okay, so that is what composition function. So a composition of function will give a very complex function. You can remember that. Why do we need layers? Simple. A composition of function can give you a very complex function. That's the simple statement. Okay. So this is what is actually happening. The final output you get, right? The weights you modify because you are going for an abstraction. Who will tell what are the best weights? Your data will tell. Okay. So the beauty is, depending upon the weights, you are creating some complex feature extraction. Okay. Yeah. So again, so in the neural network, I told you, gave you steps, right? Okay. And one of the steps is training the model. You clean the data, you fixed the structure, training the model. So training the model takes 2 steps. One is back propagation, forward pass and backward pass. Remember, forward pass, you send the training data and get a prediction. Okay, this is actually predicting temperature to the previous 3 days input values you get a prediction. But because it's a supervised learning, you already have as a ground truth as 80.8. So this is the error. I will propagate this error back to all the weights. So nodes will not modify, your weights will modify. Okay, that is called backward propagation. So training has 2 things: forward propagation and backward propagation. Forward propagation you predict and you compare this with the already given ground truth. That's called ground truth. Training data input output map we have, that is called the ground truth. And you use subtraction, you get a value. Okay. These values are propagated. It's a kind of updating the weights. Suppose, like, assume a doctor is trained in an hospital as a house surgeon. They do some mistake, the patient health deteriorates. They correct it again in the brain, like this is not to be done and all. Okay. So that's why always they have a set of doctors when there is a complicated case and the consequences are high. I mean, bad consequences are, if the risk is more, you have more number of doctors to see that the decision is correct. So this is a kind of updating. So the only thing you can update, your number of layers are fixed, your number of nodes are fixed, the way they are connected are fixed. The only thing is the values on the weights can be updated. So those are called parameters. So the way you update, you get the complex shape. Okay. So forward pass, backward pass, and everyone remember chain rule in differentiation, derivation, chain rule. No, f of g of x, if you want to differentiate, it is like, no? Yeah. So that's again, the point is that helps you to solve this problem, because even if you have 100 billion parameters, okay, that is computationally possible because it's a composition of functions and you have chain rule. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so don't worry about that mathematics. What you want is what you can modify, and the terms are important. What happens at the training? Forward pass, backward pass. In the backward pass, loss goes back and updates the weight. That's it. Okay. So again, there is lot of mathematics around it. So I think, okay, we'll, yeah. So mechanical faculty may know what is optimization. Okay. Suppose you made a prediction, okay, and you want to update the weights. How much updation you want to do? What is the way you update? What is the best way to update? That is called optimization. That's it. The method you use to do that optimization is called gradient descent. That's it. I mean, not more than that. Okay. Even just try to remember the outline of what is happening. In the training, we have two phases. In the forward pass and backward pass. In the backward pass, we do optimization. Okay. So take a sample. Okay. Don't worry about what is convolution and what is all those things. Okay. So LayNet is a kind of architecture which is already fixed with number of layers, number of connections and all. You don't worry about what these convolutions and all. Okay. The final output will be the probability of which class it actually belongs, whether it belongs to the first 4 or whatever. Okay. So it is able to tell you. You upload the image, it is able to tell you, and you upload the image, it is able to tell you. Okay. Yeah. This is called convolution neural network, but don't worry at this instant. Yeah. Okay. So if I told you the connections between two layers are from layer to layer, if a node is connected to all the nodes of the previous layer, okay, then we call it as fully connected, and only thing is it will be some 16 billion parameters. Okay. If you use concept of convolution, which ECE might know, which I don't want to go into detail now, okay, will decrease the number of parameters. That's it. Don't worry. Striding, I think at this instant, no. Okay. Yeah. I'm skipping this. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I want everyone to as an learning outcome of this session to this point, because in the afternoon session I don't want to trouble you with all those equations and everything, but convolution neural networks is an interesting concept where it worked well for the image processing, and you can explore it. But when someone asks you what is a deep learning, this is what you need to understand. This is what is actually happening. Backward pass, forward pass, and then optimization and the loss function. As again, this itself is a model of again an academic research, what can be the best loss function and what can be the best optimization method, what do you mean by gradient descent and all these things. Okay. Yeah.
Do we have an option to upgrade the weights in the feed-forward network or the previous one?
Okay. Fully in network. Fully connected. Yeah, you update the weights. You can update the weight. The only thing is the number of parameters will be very large. So convolution is a very useful task to decrease the number of parameters. So the point is, we are actually, suppose this is input, right? This is 32 by 32, maybe you think 16 by 16. It is 256 pixels, okay?
You have taken that slide, max pooling and minimum pooling.
Yeah.
Next slide, sir. Next two slides you have taken back.
Okay.
After convolution, next one. This one, what you are taking?
Okay, this is a very, so this I'll tell you what exactly it meant is. So when you are taking a decision, you need not do at a pixel level. You are okay, what is happening at the 20 or a 20 by 20 pixel level, what is happening, you are okay. Okay. So I do not need to know what happens at every pixel. For me, it's okay. You tell me on an average what is happening at that 400 pixel broad spectrum. Okay. That is called max pooling. This whole. So I don't want you to, once you do max pooling, at the first level, you are looking at pixel level. At the next level, so if you remember, at the next level, I am looking at only what happens at the on an average at the 100 pixels. At the next level, I am looking at what is happening at the 10,000 pixels, and the next level, and so on. This is called a receptive field. So the decision I make is not dependent on what is happening at each pixel level, but at a group of pixels. So that's called max pooling. Yeah, we decrease our size of looking at things.
Then you compare that to the dimensionality reduction technique, max pooling.
No, sir. Dimensionality reduction. Yeah, sorry. It is a kind of dimensionality reduction. Exactly. Sorry. When you are looking at without any parameter updation, we are decreasing the dimensionality. Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So, any other doubts? So that before I go into the next topic, or yeah, it's a break, or deep learning. Any doubts? Any generic doubt is okay, so that you don't get bored. I am speaking continuously. So because at that 4 pixels, 1156, I don't want. You tell me what is happening. Yeah, 6.
So another one.
Yeah, please.
So here you have explained sigmoidal function as an activation function.
True. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So there are so many activation functions.
True.
So which one has?
Yeah.
So there are so many activation functions to fire a neuron.
Yeah, true.
So which one is suitable for what kind of applications? How we can judge that, sir?
Yeah,
because we are
actually,
least exposed to practical things.
Yeah, true.
We know theoretical.
Yes, exactly.
So we used to study a lot of activation function.
True.
The sigmoidal is there, unit step is there,
Yeah.
binary, polar, and max function.
But people say that rectified linear unit, ReLU is the
ReLU
best
is
one.
that's
because it is easy to calculate the differential of it.
Okay.
So differential
Max
of
function
it
is also one of that.
max is ReLU is max.
ReLU max one.
You don't go to negative space, so it is max of it, 0, max of what you do. So the point is, the differentiation calculation is very easy when you go with ReLU, and when you go with sigmoid. Okay, it depends on. It is very specific. There is one more option called tan inverse also. Tan inverse also, arc tan. And it's again a very specific thing, sir. According to the problem only, we have to decide. But there are some cases where you can generically tell this works and this doesn't work. But many a time sigmoid works. Sigmoid is what we fix it. But people who feel like there should not be more number of computations will go for ReLU, because its differential is easily calculated. It's a direct answer, differential. No mathematical calculation. An overview of what are the terms in a deep learning model. I think forward pass, backward pass, and all. Yeah. Okay. Any other doubts before I go for the next session? Yeah. Anything specific? Oh, we'll take. Yeah, we'll take. Yeah. Please feel free to anything related to your research or anything related. So where what I'm doing may help you. I'm open to questions and yeah, please, sir.
So in order to analyze the condition monitoring of rotating equipment, I'm doing research on vibrations.
Okay,
so
sure.
According to your expertise, which
Computer
AI technique?
vision. I'm working on computer vision.
Computer vision, okay.
Yeah, but
I'm doing on vibrations. So I have extracted data
okay.
from a machine. I want to, if we use some external sensors, we'll get that the data, the machine is not doing well. Once it starts to behave bad.
Okay.
But in order to get the information with multiple parameters before the start of the machine failure, we use AI, AI/ML techniques. So among all these AI/ML techniques, which is suitable for this? Vibration, analysis of vibrations.
So is there a time dependency?
Yes.
That means, so what is happening in the previous instant will actually decide what is happening now. So then usually transformer architecture is doing good now. Transformer, okay. Previously it used to be recurrent neural networks, RNNs. Okay. Suppose if you take the data points x1, x2, and if you believe that there is a relation between x1 and x2, okay, then it is better to go for recurrent neural networks if you feel like the dependencies are very small, okay. But if you feel that what is happening at the 100th time instance is actually dependent on the first time instant, then you have to go for transformer. In transformer, it's a very complex architecture, but you can pick the concept of attention map. Yeah. So attention map will define, you can define, transformer will have a very generic attention map. Depending upon your problem, you can define a particular attention map, and that is going to capture all the dependencies. But many a times RNN should be sufficient. You can actually figure out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. Yeah. In classroom, if students doesn't ask question, teacher will start asking questions. But we are all teachers. Okay. Yeah, please, sir.
Shed some light on overfitting and underfitting.
Okay, overfitting. Yeah. So, so if you can remember, I was telling about training a model and testing a model. Okay. So now the problem is. I'll give you a very simple example. There is this concept called rat shyness, and this concept called pigeon reinforcement, okay, which is a very good example from Ben David textbook. So they say that when they give a food which is actually creating some sense of bad smell and all, rat was not eating it. If it is creating nausea or something like that, rat was not eating it. Okay, and they did something like after giving food, they gave some electric shock every time for that rats. Okay, but somehow rats figured out this electric shock is not because of the food they are eating, and it also figured out the nausea they are getting is because of the food they are eating. So rats figured out that's because they had some from knowledge of which prior knowledge, you call this as prior knowledge, which is actually inherently rats have. But when they perform the same experiment with pigeons, so they started giving food to pigeons whenever they are doing some kind of activity. So if a pigeon is hungrily doing some kind of roaming around and all, they started giving food that time. So it started reinforcing the same activity. So it is moving so that it gets food. Somehow it had a relation or correlation. It assumed that the food coming and the activities doing are related. So there is not, it is not having any prior knowledge. So just looking at the data, If you fix a model and do according it, your whole model is fitting it, then it can be thought as a kind of overfitting. But if you have a prior knowledge, the kind of correlation you have between input and output will actually modify. So, how do you, so the one way is not letting the model to pick whatever parameters it wants. So, even though the parameters are giving 100% accuracy during training, I will not allow it to do that, because I have a prior knowledge that no model, if you do like that, the generalization ability to work on an unseen data will fail. So, there are various ways to avoid overfitting. So, first thing is you have to accept that in learning theory there is a problem of overfitting, and there are various solutions to that. One of them is prior knowledge. If you have a knowledge of allowing only certain type of updation of parameters, you are restricting. That is one part. And the other part is, what do you mean by underfitting? If you have more prior knowledge, you never learn anything. You never learn the correlation. So, that is the problem of underfitting. So, it is again a trade-off. How do you decide between overfitting and underfitting? So, actually your test we told you before we deploy a model, there are two things: training a model and testing a model. So, when you train a model, you are actually checking it fits right to the training data. When you see the testing model, you are seeing how it is performing on an unseen data. Okay. If it is performing well on the training data and not performing well on the test data, then it is overfitting. Okay. If it is not at all performing on the training data, it is underfitting. It's a waste. So, these two steps are given to avoid overfitting, and there is various solutions. It itself is a theory, and one of the solution is to embed the concept of prior knowledge mathematically. But one of the method is, I will allow you to change W in whatever way you want, but I will always say mod W should be equal to 1. I will allow. So, that is a prior knowledge. I always believe that whatever W you take, mod W should not be greater than 1. So, it's we are restricting. So, that is called overfitting and underfitting. It's a kind of way of embedding prior knowledge about a problem. So, it has to be there. If you are modeling your algorithm in an ML, that has to be there. You have to have a solution for overfitting.
Handcrafted features, we are going for CNN, no sir?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Then there is no use of handcrafted features, sir, nowadays?
No, nowadays there is no use of handcrafted.
Then many research is going on handcrafted features also, no sir?
I think
if those are not useful, then what is the use of research in that, sir?
No, people, I mean, there is again a specific.
Like CNN, it can extract everything, no sir?
Yeah, it can extract everything.
Then what is the use of handcrafted features?
No, the problem is sometimes if data is not possible to give the input-output relations, then handcraft features will help you. If you model the problem as very complex thing, then it's a very tough task. Suppose now again that comes to some part of chemistry and fluid dynamics or anything like that. What I have read is so there we can't decide like data will be able to give you the correct answer. So you have to decide whether data is going to give you the input-output relation. So that should actually.
Can two CNN models be concatenated, sir?
CNN models
can be concatenated.
Concatenate. Yeah, you can concatenate. That's like it's again it's a design decision depending upon our problem whether you can design two CNN networks and combine them at the last. It's allowed. You can do that.
I'm not telling about combining, sir. Like I have a CNN model, I'll give input and get output. Then the same output I'll give to the another.
Yeah.
That is possible, sir?
Yeah, that is also possible, because it's like again how you define the training is important. How you propagate the loss from the first CNN to the second CNN, from the second CNN to the first CNN. Do you take it as an independent entity or a connectivity that you have to decide? So lastly, I'll take 5 more minutes and we'll complete this. And the thing is, morning there is a question like I think ma'am asked. There is limitations for. Sorry, I'll go back to that particular slide. Okay, where I want to show you. Yeah. Let me. Yeah. So there is a limitation with ChatGPT. If you ask ChatGPT like what is the square root of ChatGPT is not good at solving the mathematical problems. If you ask ChatGPT what is cube root of 625, it gave us 5. Oh, free AI tools? Not that I do not know, but I'll see that. I think a paid version of ChatGPT can do. I think I'll figure out, ma'am. As I said, I didn't know till now. I don't think I had to check. But every plagiarism tool are trying to make use of AI as one module. So that far I can know. Okay. Yeah, please.
ChatGPT, I will upload some documents.
Yeah.
And I'll ask it that whether it is having 10% plagiarism, 20%. Can it tell me?
Again, exactly, it should be able to tell, but I'm not sure. Like, I'll show you that. Like, if you upload a document, what happens is how can ChatGPT? So, I think there has to be some tools because they should have released it, but I don't use it, so I do not know. But it's theoretically possible. Like how we can do that. Your own 100-page document and you want to create your own chartboard, you can do that with a very small number of lines. So whatever people ask questions on that PDF, if I write the PDF and come, if you ask me some questions, I will be able to answer. In the same way, if you ask that question to the chartboard, that will be able to answer. है ना इसमें है. Okay. I'll look. नहीं internet में. Okay, so don't worry, 5 more minutes, we'll be till I finish this. Yeah, okay, and so okay, so coming back to the question of LLM, we can create our own chartboards. Okay, if you update. Sorry. Okay. How? If you have a PDF document with you, you convert that into a database. Okay. Suppose if you have your own college, all manuals and everything, whatever instructions you give, everything, you put them in this store. Okay. And it's a called vector database, and all the data will be stored in vectors. And the splitting can also be done, and whatever, don't worry. And whatever human asks questions, okay, that will be understood by the LLM, and LLM will talk to this database and retrieve the answer and give it in the way the user wants. So previously, if you want to find something from the PDF, you can only search. You can only search and select that part. But now, if you upload that PDF in the vector DB, and then you ask the question through LLM, the LLM will figure out what is your question. Suppose if you see here, LLM is figuring, it will take this question, LLM is figuring out what you want actually. You want year and so on, and it will go to the database and pick you the answer and give it with a common sense. So now LLM as a chart is gone, LLM as an entity has common sense, and whatever data you want to give, you give it. But the only restriction is you need to store it in a concept called vector database. So you can create your own chart bot. If the college manuals of your all college manuals, it's just in maybe 20-30 lines of code. So
similar to Siri and Cortana, what is being used?
What is that?
Is it similar to Siri and Cortana, what we are using nowadays?
Siri.
Siri and Cortana.
Ah, exactly.
Very limited there is.
Yeah. True. But the point is, Siri cannot take the common sense of the outside world, and because it's not trained on the. But ChatGPT is trained both on the outside data, and you are giving this as an extra, so that from the outside data it will bring common sense, and the specific answer it will take from this PDF. So there need not be any user manual. It's only a chatbot, and whatever they can ask, and suppose how do they operate the system? How do they complete the admission process? It can be your own personalized chatbot. So if you see here, this is actually a class lecture. The student can ask questions on the class lecture. Okay, whatever transcriptions there is done, and the questions will be answered. This is an example of creating your own chatbot, because OpenAI doesn't know the data of your class. ChatGPT doesn't know what is happening in your classroom. Okay, but ChatGPT has a common sense. So I'll use that to answer questions specific to my data. That's all. So the beauty is the question you asked can be converted into a format. The question you ask can be converted into a format which it will search in the document. The second thing is, after retrieving the answer, it will write in the format which you want. That is called chatbot. Okay. Now this is the last slide. Okay. Yeah. If you ask ChatGPT square root of 625, it will fail, because it is trained not for mathematics. It is trained for a language model, helping you to understand the language text. But can we convert ChatGPT to do mathematical problems also? There are MaxGPT, which is LangChain has given you, but we can design our own. Okay. The point is, now the question is, ChatGPT may not know what exactly meant by square root, and it doesn't perform mathematical calculations. Okay. So two things you need to do. You need to tell what is meant by cube root, and the second thing you need to tell how to perform step-by-step action. Okay. So I will create a bot called agent, okay, which is a very small program. It's not a very tough program, and I will tell whenever user asks a question, if it is a mathematics question, you go to Wikipedia and find out what that term means. Okay. So after you tell cube root of 625, it will go to the agent, this bot, and it will go to the Wikipedia and understand what is cube root. And after understanding, okay, this is called Wikipedia wrapper. These three programs which will help you. After understanding, the agent will give back to the answer to the LLM. LLM will again understand and go to the calculator, which is also a tool. It will give that input tool to the calculator, which is again a program, NumPy program or whatever. They do the calculations and give you the answer. And you bring those answer again and see what exactly the user is asking. Okay, and you create your own mathematics chatbot now, because OpenAI is not good at performing mathematics, but the problem is it doesn't know what is square root and it doesn't perform mathematical calculations. Those two can be done by separate programs. So you don't worry about calling those programs. You again tell the ChatGPT to call those programs, it will call for it. Okay. Okay. So this is called LangChain. So the next big thing is LangChain. Okay. So you ask some question, if ChatGPT fails, it will understand. So the user is something asking questions, so I need to call the calculator. What should be the input to the calculator? These numbers. Who will do that? ChatGPT will do this for you, and it will give you the answer, and it feel like, okay, is it good? And again it will take, no, I am not happy. I will again call the program called calculator and then give input and final, and it shows final answer and will give you the final output. This is called reasoning, giving reasoning to ChatGPT depending upon your own problem. So this is how. So you ask cube root of 625, it will decide. LLM will decide. I need to use calculator. What should be the input for calculator? This is. It will figure out. So you told what is the cube root, but who gave this symbol? LLM gave. Okay, and then the answer is this one. Okay, this answer will go to the LLM again, that is ChatGPT. ChatGPT will give you the answer and tell the chatbot to give this answer, then this final answer. So this is like you are asking ChatGPT to do a particular task for you. Okay. So this is what the next thing going on. So I told you, you can create your own database. Sorry, you can chatbot on restricting to your own data, using the help of common sense of ChatGPT. That is called storing, vector DB. And the second thing is, this is what happens with, there are certain programs which will do mathematical calculations for you, but you can't ask the user to go and use the program. You ask the user to interact in whatever way they interact with the teacher, and that question you give to the LLM, it figure out what the student is asking and calculate and give you the answer. So this is called agent, RAG and vector database, and this is going to be the next big thing in ChatGPT or whatever. This is called retrieval augmented generation. So with this, I will conclude my whole session of what happening from the morning. So we have seen AI, we have seen what is its importance, introduction, we have seen some part of what is ML, AI and some part of it ML, and we have seen deep learning and what are various steps we do in deep learning, and finally we have seen what exactly is the latest trends in LLM, how you can use it, that is create your own chatbot and create your own bots, agents which will perform the activities for you. Okay. So with that I conclude the session for today. Thank you all very much. Yeah, thank you. There are any, yeah, please ma'am.
Emerging research topics.
Okay. Emerging research topics in LLM, this one. In computer vision, this whole thing comes under what is called generative AI. Generative AI is like, so far we have seen AI is solving a task. So far we have never seen AI generating something for you. That is like, we have seen DALL-E images. So I asked the prompt guitar and this is an image call. So whichever specific problem you take, in NLP you go for generative. You want to generate data. And for computer vision, again you go for generative. So that can be a specific research problems. So, and if you really ask me what exactly is happening, multimodal. How do you combine text and images, audio, and people are so much worried about what will happen with video content analysis. How do you apply AI on videos, and this 3D modeling, robotics, and the thing is connectivity of devices, and it's for electronics, like how do in 5G communication, how do you actually put AI at the device level. AI on device is also very important part. So again, it boils down to the, if you ask a particular domain, then we can talk about it, but at an outset, this is what is happening.
Image processing.
Image is generative AI in image generation and combining text and imaging, and lot of things are going on medical imaging and 3D imaging and videos.
Sir, sentiment analysis is good topics.
Sentiment analysis is because of ChatGPT has become old now. ChatGPT, in terms of sentiment analysis, you can't beat ChatGPT. There is no way because they already put 100 billions in it. So we can't. I think that's because the kind of task ChatGPT is doing, it's far level of sentiment analysis. It's too far from sentiment analysis. So that's a very low level task. So if someone asks me, I think I don't suggest sentiment analysis as the latest research topic. Okay, thank you all. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you, sir.
A knowledgeable lecture by Professor Uday Kumar. I would like to request Dr. Najmuddin Maruf sir to present a memento to Mr. Uday Kumar.